Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Thanksgiving episode of Frame Trap. I am joined by Michael Huber.
Yo.
And Bradley Ellis. Hi. I just realized this. I feel like extra far away.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll see how that plays out.
Super far away.
You could always scoot.
Yeah.
You got a lot of real estate.
I do.
Yeah.
I feel...
Spread your wings.
I feel too separated from the boys.
One-winged angel.
It's really the only reason it's the Thanksgiving episode is because we're shooting this just before Thanksgiving.
That's right.
Any Thanksgiving plans that you're doing this year? Anything you're excited
Just
about?
at my parents' house, man. Just chilling, get the whole family there. I don't have to travel.
I have not had Thanksgiving with my family, I feel like, in a little while.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
yours lives further away.
Right. We it's like we can't go home for both Thanksgiving and Christmas, so it's like you got to pick one.
So you choose the big boy.
Yeah, like most of the time we choose Christmas.
So is Thanksgiving just a very chill thing for you guys at your house?
Yeah, normally we go to Sujita and have ramen on Thanksgiving, which is great.
Cool.
But this year we just decided to go to Seattle.
Oh,
So
cool.
just like spend some time.
Yeah, cool.
Arcadia Bay.
With the wife. I went to Seattle for like some game thing. I don't remember what it was, but I haven't really like.
Yeah, I've been there a couple
to
times.
The city.
Yeah.
Yeah, seems nice.
GameWorks. Went there last time.
Oh yeah, man, I haven't been to a GameWorks in a long time. How about you, Huber?
Going to the in-laws. 25
Nice.
deep. 25
Oh
peeps.
shit. Yeah, cool.
Yeah,
We do it. We've done that sometimes.
Yeah.
you like that? You like the big family stuff?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
I
nice.
love this. I like it when it's a little smaller, a little more intimate. You
Yeah,
know?
I do too. I prefer the smaller ones.
When there's so many people, you kind of it's
yeah.
hard to like connect with everyone. You know,
Yeah.
there's just pandemonium. But it should be a good time.
Cool.
You know, I say that, but I think considering the last 2 years,
Yeah.
a big family with a lot of noise sounds
True.
appealing in a way that it normally wouldn't to me.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Nice.
That's
Hell yeah.
good. Thanksgiving time. It's feeling good. I'm excited to go home this year.
Cool.
I am.
That's sick.
I very, very, very,
That's
very
sick.
much am. But
And 2021 strong.
and 2021 strong. Exactly. Also, you know, it'd be nice to like see some snow, have some cold weather.
Yeah, man.
Really don't like
Wild.
the cold, but I think now, you know, just being separated for so long and living out here for so long, it's a nice change of pace.
Yeah.
Look, maybe you wouldn't want to live in it again, but
Right.
it's nice visiting.
Exactly. What is nice revisiting, and I always love on Frame Trap when we have a game that we can all talk about pretty evenly. And boy, Halo sure feels back
Yeah.
in a big way.
Yeah.
The Halo Infinite multiplayer beta, but also kind of the main thing.
It's the main thing.
Just stealth released.
Yeah.
And it's been generating a lot of buzz. And I have to say, personally, I have been having a blast. I don't think I've been so... Like, there's been a couple of moments where I've been playing Halo Infinite, and I'm like, it's like 2 hours have passed. And I love that feeling when you are so wrapped up in a game. But I want to get your guys' opinion on what you think. You know, Huber and Brad, you've also been playing a lot of Battlefield, which I have not been, and just kind of comparing and contrasting the experiences.
I always compare Halo to Call of Duty more versus Battlefield.
Sure.
I know they have this big collect the little devices and put them in the thing. What's that mode called? Shit.
The shards.
Yeah. I forget the name of the mode, but
I do too. But
yeah.
like, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Where you can steal the
Yeah, that's a really cool mode. I was like kind of not iffy on it. I was like, oh, this is fine. But then like really started to get into it, started stealing them from the other team.
Yeah.
And like throwing them to your teammates. I just really like that mode quite a bit. And just a credit to how polished this game is. You know, right out of the gate, it feels so good to play. I know the Battle Pass is kind of a mess, but they've already talked about adding changes to that.
They have already changed it. Yeah.
And there's still a lot more work to be done, I feel like, on that front to just make normal play rewarding. Because right now it can kind of feel like people are just going for the challenges and you know, just make like kills and wins get you and objectives should just give you like a base amount of Battle Pass XP, and I think it'd be perfect.
Yeah, maybe how you perform in a match reflects more in that.
It's funny, we spent a lot of time talking about this on this week's podcast, and yeah, I do agree. I think, because now it's you get 50 XP for every match that you play. I think you should get another 50 XP for winning.
Yeah.
I don't see, and I think even just that alone would encourage more objective play and that sort of thing.
They're just, because it's like the season's going to last till May, I think. Right. So I think they're afraid of, like, I think they're afraid of putting their foot on the gas all the way.
I definitely think that.
Because they don't want people to level up and get 100 and just bail, you know?
Yeah, and...
Which is like, it's a really tricky thing to balance, because that's a real problem. That could be a real problem for a lot of people.
Right, right, definitely. I do think it is nice, A, having such a long season because you always have something to work for, and B, I also love, because I run into this with Dead by Daylight, that the battle pass doesn't expire.
Yeah,
so
which is great.
If there's something you really want at the end of the battle pass,
like I want
your head to be on fire.
I want those Halo Reach armor sets you can get, like, and those are like way down the battle pass line, but it's like I want those.
Yeah, I've really only looked at the very end. I should look at the rest of it and kind of like chart.
Yeah, they're
out,
like in the
exactly
70 range.
Nice.
Yeah. It feels so good to play.
Yeah,
it just feels freaking good in a way that I was not expecting. You know, I played every Halo. Here we are again, and you know, I'm pretty lukewarm on 4 and 5. But this really, and I've seen the sentiment just kind of unanimously. Everyone is like, "Yo, I haven't been this obsessed since 3. Reach, ODST, like,
or at least me and Huber.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of Halo fans that have kind of been out of Halo for a minute are fully back in.
Right, and I do kind of want to get into that, because I said this during when I played the technical flight, and I think now getting more time with the game, there just feels like so much time and effort was put into tuning everything. And I like taking a look at all of the weapons. I love being like, there's a use for this. There's a use for that. Like, and having each of them be fun in a completely different way. And I really think the map design is pretty incredible in a way where, like, depending on the map that you're on, the entire vibe of the match changes. Of course, the mode is responsible for that as well, but like where they're putting power weapons, how that affects the match, how the like weapon respawn system and where that all is placed, all of it feels really, really, really good in a way. And it's funny because there have definitely been people out there that are like, this needs a battle royale. This needs a battle royale. It's gonna get old in a couple of weeks. It doesn't have a battle royale. You know, like Dr. Disrespect was getting out there and saying that, and it's like. Actually, I think what makes this special is that it definitely has this old school foundation, right?
Yeah.
This sort of like team arena shooter, but it's doing it so well that it feels like fresh and fun and exciting again. And I think it's like executing on that so well that it doesn't need to chase after all that other stuff. I really don't think it's necessary.
I think it was smart to focus on to get that classic Halo feeling right.
Yeah.
This time around, like you could do the like. I guarantee it. They've thought of doing a battle royale for Halo. There's like 0% chance they haven't thought about that, but it's like they got to nail the core of Halo first.
Totally agree.
And I think they realize that, and getting everything right, because like they did this with the campaign. That's why there's no co-op, there's no forge. It's like they got to nail stuff first. Then you could do that. This is going to be a service game. This is not you buy the game. That's it.
10 years.
They're going to be
deep.
adding stuff to this game for a long time.
Absolutely.
So
it feels so good to play Capture the Flag. Holy shit.
Yeah.
I am so into Capture the Flag.
Yeah.
Yeah, like just the teamwork, you know? You really feel it. Like it's a really nice balance, cuz Call of Duty you never really get that feeling of teamwork, you know? It's a bunch of lone wolves on a team.
Yeah, a lot of the time.
Most of the part, a lot of the time. Yeah. And in Halo it just really feels like even when you're not trying, you're kind of just with the team. Like, you know, if someone has the flag, like, allies are coming to protect that flag or pick up the pieces and move forward. So
yeah, and you just have those wonderful moments where you're like, I'm going for it. And you go for the flag and you get it and you end up bringing it back to base. Yeah. And you get the dramatic, like, your team scored, and it feels so good. Some of the best moments for me so far have been Oddball.
Oddball's so fun too. Oddball's sick.
It's good mode.
Like, not only seeing the team kind of coalesce around the ball holder and like finding a place where you're holding up and just like, again, that tension, but just the funny moments of being like, oh, I managed to kill that guy with the ball, and the game goes, how embarrassing. And it's just, it's fun. Getting those medals is super fun. Just like Fear the Pink Mist. It has like this sense of joy to it that I think is really important.
That was lacking for a while.
Yeah, going back to what you were saying, like I'm not against it Battle Royale, but I don't agree with the sentiment that it like needs it. I think it's definitely doing its own thing and reminding people why Halo can be so much fun.
It's like maybe it won't be as popular as Apex Legends or Call of Duty Warzone because it doesn't have one at this moment, but it's like it could still be successful.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be the top one in the game.
And I think it does such a great job of showing why Halo is so legendary, right? Like
it does.
We're talking about the weapons and the map design, but then there are also just those moments where you like knock somebody out of their ghost or hop into a buddy's warthog, and you just kind of have that sandbox chaos,
moment,
right? And so it's that stuff is so special too, I think.
I will say though, my critique with this is I've been playing a lot of this and been having a good time.
Yeah.
But after playing for a long time, I feel like there needs to be more.
Yeah. That was my next thing I was gonna say.
my big issue right now is not being able to choose. Like sometimes I just want to play Capture the Flag, or I just want to play this mode or that mode, and like sometimes just hopping into these playlists and either getting a lot of the same map or a lot of the same mode, or you're just not in the mood for a certain mode. Yeah, that kind of stuff.
You need to be
annoying.
able to select that a little easier,
and that's why I think the Battle Pass is getting so much heat too. Because if that was addicting and compelling, it would alleviate some of the repetition, some kind of the sameness of the.
But it's
maps
like I want to play Big Team Slayer. Yeah, but it's like. Hope I get it.
Right. You hope you get it. Yeah. I agree. Sometimes I just want Slayer. Yeah. And so I think more options in medium, like what you want, is definitely necessary. I do think that is coming.
Yeah, of course. I do think it'll come. But just of playing quite a bit of it, I feel it, you know? I do miss it.
In regards to the Battle Pass, Hubert, I've definitely had mixed reactions. There are definitely times where I'll get something and be like, I don't want this, and you can cycle through some of that stuff. But then there are other times like getting the one where it's just like, just run over 10 people. And it's like, I probably wouldn't have done this, but then spending a couple of games just like exclusively trying to go for that has been really fun. Yeah. Of course, it goes back to the argument, like, me doing that is probably hurting the team.
Yeah.
But
I've never been a fan of any kind of challenges like that.
I do think it is good, though, that there is a separation between, like, big team battle and quick play and ranked. Right?
Totally.
Like, going into big team battle, I'm not like, we have to win this.
Yeah. Ranked mode. Yeah. So intense.
Yeah.
I love it.
Very intense.
I love that stuff.
A lot of placement matches as well.
Yeah. I love that. I love just, like, climbing the ranks, tournament style. It's so fun.
Yeah. I haven't... Ranked is definitely what I've played the least. Like, I'm not... I'm at, I think, like, the back end of placements, but I haven't finished all my placement matches yet.
Nice.
Just because, like, I don't know, I've been in a lot of games where it's been pretty sweaty already. Like, people are going hard on Halo. Like, there's definitely been a lot of,
Oh, yeah.
It's been...
Well, there's sweat, baby.
It's been intense. I also like... I said this in the podcast, and I agree. I do think the UI is a bit of a mess, but I do like how many customization options there are. Going back to the Battle Pass, like, it's exciting to unlock things just because of how cool some of that stuff looks, and I do think it'll get better. Like, everybody wants the samurai armor.
When is that event?
I don't know. I don't know when it is exactly.
I feel like they said it was a week later, so it should be coming up.
Yeah, I hope it's soon.
I'm like
that
ready
thing looks
to
sick.
grind that so hard. That's the kind of stuff I hope is limited time. Because I like that the Battle Pass is unlimited, you know, it doesn't stress people out.
Right.
But it would be nice to have special events that make that stuff even more meaningful, more rewarding. Be there for this event.
They have that right now. Yeah. There's like some some rewards you can get if you played
during the time. That's cool.
That's another thing that I like, because you were talking about like grinding out the Battle Passes. There are... If you do all of your weeklies, at the end, you get like an ultimate challenge that you can do for a piece of gear. So that really incentivizes you to clear through the whole list.
That's cool.
Which is cool. I don't think that stuff is like presented very well in game, but I still like the concept of it. Yeah, I don't know. It just feels good. Like this just feels like such a celebration, and it's something
free to play.
Yeah,
PC, Xbox.
Yeah,
it's wild.
It's the kind of thing where, like, with this and with Forza Horizon 5, I feel like Microsoft's plan like really starts to make sense in a way that like it's so fun just bringing in my Xbox on the stream, and it's like, well, everybody has access to this. You know, I don't have to ask like, oh, you buy it or Isla buy it or Blood buy it. It's just free. Anyone can play it. There's immediate cross progression. So when I go home and I want to play on PC, I just do that. There's no hassle.
Clean.
It's just like
so clean.
It being free and like the fact that progress carries over regardless of how you're playing, that like simplicity, that lack of a barrier, I think is so important.
This is probably honestly one of the best years they've had. I think Microsoft in a very long time.
Right.
I can't think of many years that's been better than this one for them.
Yeah, it's actually crazy because like playing a lot of multiplayer in a night, I'll have moments where I'm like, okay, like I want to relax. I wish I want to just go play the campaign. Like it's getting me really excited to kind of have that back and forth.
I'm ready.
And I feel so jazzed about the campaign. I've been purposely avoiding like all coverage of it because I want to go in as blind as possible. And so I hope, especially since there isn't co-op, there isn't Forge, which is a bummer. Even Halo 5, I was going to play Halo 5 co-op with my wife, and it was just like, oh, no, there is no local co-op. I was like, oh, wait, I forgot about that. Yeah, kind of a hallmark of the series, just not there. But, yeah, I'm really excited for the campaign. I hope it delivers.
Yeah.
Just a really solid foundation.
Yeah.
The future is bright for Halo Infinite. It's... In one day, I liked it 10 times more than I ever liked 4 and 5, honestly. Just the whole feeling, like from the very first match, you can just feel, just feels lighter, more refreshing, like not as try-hard. You know, 4 and 5 just kind of had this edge to them, you know?
And it's so weird, because like 4 and 5 are not my favorite Halos, but I like them more than a lot of people give them credit for.
4 and 5, to me at the time, just... They weren't exciting me, you know? But the advantage this has, it's been like 6 years since 5, and when you come back good, it makes it all the sweeter.
Yeah, I agree. Kind of, to give credence to what you're talking about, I think something that is a little bit disappointing about 4 and 5 is you think about like the Promethean weapons, and it's just like, this is kind of just a different flavor of the same thing. Like this is kind of just a pistol or just a rifle or just a shotgun. That's actually something I really like about Halo 5. I'm not going to sit here and say, like, they're the craziest weapons ever, but, like, firing the disruptor at a weapon and just disabling it is really fun in a multiplayer match. The like, grenade launcher that bounces off the walls is really fun to fire in a crowded room. The Mauler just shooting a spike at somebody is fun. Like, the weapons are... Again, like really well thought out and very distinct. They feel appropriate to Halo, but some of them it's like, this feels like a little bit different than other Halo weapons that I've used. And I appreciate the creativity that they're showing with some of that stuff.
You got to have the reliables.
Oh, yeah.
You got to have those, but you got to have a few new tricks.
Right. Yeah. And, man, like, I love what they did with the assault rifle and the pistol because they're weapons where, like, starting every match with them and having them all the time, I'm like, these are super, super good, and I feel like I can use them in just about every situation, but they're not, like, so good that I don't want to go out on the map and explore and get power weapons and things like that. Yeah. Like, they find this, like, really perfect pocket.
Yeah. The AR feels slightly nerfed for the better, you know? It just feels a little weaker than I'm used to, and I really like that because, like you were saying, it encourages you to get other weapons out there. Yeah,
it's interesting because like the AR and the pistol complement each other so well. Where like once you get extremely accurate with the pistol, like you can become pretty deadly with that thing. But like you have to work harder than you do with the AR, and it's like the AR is like an old reliable. Yeah, but it just doesn't. It's not going to rise with your skill in quite the same way, and so it's a super interesting balance. Yeah. Like. Yeah.
Also, the grappling hook as a consumable is pretty genius.
Yeah.
I'm just so... We're going to get into it with freaking Battlefield, but I'm just so over operators and specialists and heroes. I'm just over that whole trend. Just stop, please. I like when you just choose your loadout, you have your character, and that's it. Like the grappling hook is an item that everyone can get, not just this one person.
Yeah, the equipment in Infinite is actually something that I'm not completely sold on yet. Because like when I get it, I do like it and think it's useful. Like the grappling hook is a blast.
Yeah,
but
love the grappling hook.
It with all of the equipment, it feels so situational, and it doesn't necessarily feel powerful enough to like go and prioritize over at the cost of weapons. And so it's like good, but I like even now I'm like, man, I haven't been able to grapple around like as much as I want to. I don't know. I definitely need to put a pin on that and reevaluate that statement.
That's kind of my opinion on some of the guns. That's where I'm at with some of them, where a lot of them I've used, I'm like, I don't see the value in this yet.
Yeah,
kind of thing.
And that's why I'm a little bit hesitant about the equipment, because that was my initial response to some of the guns, and then I kind of crossed that hurdle a little bit.
I've definitely been in a spot where I see a gun, and I'm like, I don't want that kind of thing.
I do wish the shotgun was stronger.
Yeah, good rate of fire.
I get
good capacity.
Yeah, I kind of get why they presented it the way that it did, but
if you're so close quarters, that thing can be devastating.
Yeah, it definitely can be.
It can, but I think it needs to be a little more devastating.
Yeah,
a little more. Yeah. Where I feel like if I have a shotgun in a close encounter, I have a much bigger advantage.
Man, classic Halo shotgun felt like it was just about as powerful as a rocket launcher.
Yeah, like it doesn't need to be that powerful.
Which, right. Maybe that's too far. But.
Especially in a game of Halo where I feel like a lot of it, close quarters are the battle rifle, then you whack each other.
Right.
That's like a staple of Halo.
Yeah.
And I feel like the shotgun was a nice variation on it. Yeah, it disrupted that kind of thing.
I wonder if they'll just add weapons and whatever to the existing mode, or if they'll have special events. Like I could imagine like a Halo 1 event where it's
a really cool
Halo
idea.
1 maps and weapons. And
Blood
all of that,
kind of
like Battlefield Portal in a way.
That's what I was just gonna say, yeah.
So it's like I could totally see him going that route, or just adding like the shotgun to the weapons.
I mean,
the pool. But then it seems like
Halo
that would
20th
disrupt.
anniversary. It seems like the perfect time to do that. Yeah.
So I wonder if it'll be special.
I think that's a great idea.
I do too.
I love what they're doing with like I believe they're adding a. Classic Master Chief skin, classic Warhawk skin. I believe.
Because
that stuff is sick.
Because this whole season is Reach, so it's like, well, during the season, are they going to have like a Reach week or Reach month where it's like, yo, here's like all the Reach stuff?
Yeah,
that'd be cool.
Sky's the limit.
Special event.
Yeah, it'll be really interesting to see how this evolves, and it's so awesome because it kind of feels like right now in this moment, everybody is excited about Halo, and I hope that stays. I really do.
Yeah, it'd be nice.
It would be nice.
Well, the thing I'll say about the shooters this year is, which I really appreciate, is they all feel super different from each other.
Really do.
So you can kind of fall in your little category. Like, personally, I'm enjoying Halo the most out of all of them this year, and I've played all of them. Not as much as I'd like to, but Halo is grabbing me a little more this year.
So, Brad, it's actually interesting because I didn't plan for this to happen. I just sort of fell into it, where I was planning, after spending time with the Vanguard beta, I was like, I don't know, man. Like it was okay, basically.
It's okay.
And then Battlefield, I was like, you know what? I'm excited about Battlefield. I'm more excited about Battlefield than I have been in a super long time. And then just out of nowhere, Halo came out, and I kind of just spent all my time there. Like I really have not been playing any Battlefield or Call of Duty just because I've been enjoying Halo.
Like Call of Duty, I've left behind. I did it for the review, but it's like I'm done with Call of Duty. But Battlefield is different for me. I won't really play Battlefield by myself, but I will play with like Mike or something like that. I have fun doing that. But Halo, I will play by myself. You know, like I'm just gonna play a few games.
Right, definitely. And it's so great because of how flexible it is. Where like, playing like just Call of Duty Team Deathmatch with your friends, I feel like it's not that different than playing it alone, but you just get banter with each other.
Yep.
I feel like Halo has this whole spectrum where I can play it with friends and it'll feel very different. It'll be a little bit more chaotic, or I can play it alone and it'll be equally satisfying, but in a totally different way. Yeah.
Honestly, Halo being on PC day one has been like a huge reason why I probably enjoyed it a lot. Is because of mouse and keyboard.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I traditionally Halo controller totally get it. What people prefer it on controller, but I prefer FPSs with the mouse and keyboard.
Just
and
having the option.
Just having the option is great, and it's been awesome for me.
Yeah. Let's dig into Battlefield because I'm actually like really curious to talk about it because like I want to play Battlefield. I want to be excited about Battlefield. I've just been playing a lot of Halo, and it seems like from the outside looking in, people are pretty disappointed.
People are being really loud about the problems, as they should be, because there's a lot of changes and a lot of issues. Through it all, I'm fucking obsessed. I got obsessed this weekend where I'm just like, yo, I'm ready, dude. Rest of the year, it's Battlefield time.
Oh, you were in. You were putting your whole.
I am
all the
fully
chips
diving in now. Yeah,
nice.
I'm feeling the grind. The review came out today, and it's pretty harsh because a review is a snapshot of the time of it.
Right.
And Battlefield right now is a little rough. You know, all but the most dedicated fans, like, I wouldn't recommend. I'd be like, yo, give it a little time.
It's so funny how history warps things because I feel like in the Battlefield community, you bring up like Battlefield 4 and it's spoken about with like this reverence and this joy. And I remember the Battlefield 4 launch being a total mess
of chaos. It was a month.
Right. And so just
every time.
It's really interesting how it kind of flip-flops.
That's the problem is every Battlefield that has come out in recent
launch
years
is sketchy.
Yeah, and it's like
it's every time.
It's every time.
It's every time.
But I think you said that's what is so incredibly frustrating about this is just like, do you need to come out right now?
I know. They do because they need their Black Friday deals. They need their holiday rush. They need those December sales, which is everything. It's huge.
Yeah.
Too much money on the table to ship your game before the holiday rush.
I just wonder how many times they can get away with doing this.
Well, apparently forever.
But it's like
people
just keep doing it.
I will say this, though. I have gotten less excited about Battlefield as time has gone on. As a franchise, I just don't get as excited anymore.
Yeah.
Because it never launches good.
Yeah.
And that's what I want to play it the most when it's new and it's exciting. But it's like, when I played with you last time, I was ready to uninstall that game.
Yeah. I mean, it's rough. There's been, like the issues right now are like unable to connect, you know?
Unable to res.
Unable to res. You'll just be stuck dead, you know? And that sucks because you'll be like halfway through a match. And you'll have to leave, and like there goes your
match.
I mean, that's huge.
It's huge.
That is huge. That's not a little nitpick. That is a fundamental problem.
Yes. Yeah. They've already addressed it. They said, "Yo, patch this week. We'll fix it." So like, it's being addressed. It's fucking annoying, but like, I'm 34. I like to say I'm a patient human, so I put up with more jank than most, you know, more issues than most.
Right.
I prefer 4-hour movies.
Sure.
You know, if I get booted to the screen, that's annoying.
That's like
hop back in.
An MMO launch, I guess.
Yeah.
I totally understand that, but it's just like, man, I'm fucking sick of it though.
Yeah.
I'm just sick of it, man.
Yeah,
for sure.
I just think it's inexcusable in such a crowded space. Like
Halo launched perfectly.
I can't imagine that being the right call. Like I understand that the audience for Battlefield is massive, but it's like not only do you have Halo and Call of Duty with new iterations right now, it's like, you know, you have other games that are still going on. You have Apex Legends, you have Fortnite, you have you know, insert example here, Valorant, whatever it is, that I just, from word of mouth alone, it just doesn't seem...
Yeah, it's just easy to also, though, like, hone in on that, you know? And it's like all the law of averages and everything. Right. It's like last night I played for 4 hours, and it was perfect.
Sure.
The patch isn't even out yet. I played for 4 hours. It was fun. You know, you look at the volume of hours. I've played this thing like 30 hours and maybe like an hour of inconvenience. Like, you look at the long term, and like, it's the most frustrating when I want to play with Brad and it's breaking. Then he gets booted, you know, trying to sync up with friends.
Right, and it seems like that has been happening
a lot.
Just some problems abound.
Yeah, so like playing with your friends right now, I think, is even more challenging, which is like what Battlefield is all about.
It's something that the series definitely hangs its hat on. I want to get your opinion on this. So I watched 2 different reviews for Battlefield 2042. I watched the Angry Joe review and I watched an IGN review. Yeah. And something that was so damning to me, in both reviews separately, they said the most fun that I had in this game was playing older Battlefields inside of it. And I was like, wow. Like that, they're like, it reminds me of a time when Battlefield was good.
For sure. I agree and disagree. 100%. I agree that the classes should never have been changed. I do not like...
So dig into what is the issue with the operators?
So I do not like the new specialists at all. At all. I don't want them ever again in a Battlefield. It's too late now, EA. You messed up. Yeah. I don't want them. So traditionally, since 1942 Battlefield, there were classes. There was Assault, Support, Medic, and Recon. Recon was a sniper.
Yeah.
Medic could revive and heal people.
And you needed everybody.
You needed everyone because there was no like regenning health. You would run out of ammo and you would need to rely on that.
Yeah.
Now, Ben, before I even get into specialists, first of all, you can regen health. What the hell do I need to seek out a med pack for? I don't even need a medic.
Yeah, some of your vehicles regain.
Your vehicles repair automatically over time. So I don't like the repair tool is just like
it lost a lot of value
for nostalgia purposes. Like, why is the repair tool even in this game? Like, yeah, maybe once or twice, like in Pandemonium, I can get out and like repair, and like in this instant it'll help. But like usually, if you're in a tank, like they'll just go away and repair. Mm-hmm. Like the reliance on other people now is just straight up gone, and they are like, no, you know. After the first technical test, EA was like, no, there's more flexibility. You have more options, more creativity. Right. And it's like, with more options, work with more flexibility.
It all just bleeds together.
It all bleeds together, and my reliance on anyone else is gone. When teamwork happens, it's by chance. Yeah. It's by accident. It's like, I went down, and someone was right here to revive me. Mm-hmm. Thanks. Cool accident, bro.
Well, isn't some of that buffered by just the nature of the game mode themselves, right? You think about conquest, you think about capturing points. Like, doesn't that inherently take some teamwork?
Yes, but now going from 64 to 128 players with such big maps, so many points, your contribution just kind of gets lost in the shuffle.
Gotcha.
It's like, yo, I'm capturing this sector over here, but it's like such a cog in the machine, you know, such a small thing. Whereas traditional Battlefield, I could paratroop behind enemy lines, back capture this point solo as like my 2 squad mates spawn on me. We're one squad taking this entire area now. Foothold in the, like, your impact was heightened, and the synergy and the teamwork was so much more. So yeah, I mean, fundamentally, there's just less teamwork, and that is a huge bummer. With that being said, because it goes both ways, the benefit is playing solo now is kind of the most fun it's ever been in a Battlefield.
Yeah, true.
Traditionally, when I would solo queue without my buddies, I would always be a sniper, because that is inherently a solo role. You know, when I'm rolling with Brad, I don't want to just camp as a sniper. I want to be a medic or support or whatever. But when I play solo, I'd do recon. Now, you can be right in the middle of it. You can be, you know, a healing sniper, or, you know, Boris has a turret that he can throw down, and I have med packs that I can throw down. Like, there's just more options to be more self-sufficient. Like, I can be a run and gunner and have an AR. So you just have more options solo, but again, there's just no real incentive to help anyone. Further contributing to this is the scoreboard has been completely redesigned for no reason. There's like, you can't even talk to the other team. It was like, they went so aggro on trying to avoid toxic chat and toxic everything. First of all, your own teammate is toxic as shit. Everyone's talking shit with each other.
Yeah.
Now, there's no scoreboard, so, like, all it really keeps track of at a glance are kills, deaths.
That's stupid.
Kills, deaths, and assists. That's not what Battlefield is about. That's Call of Duty.
Right.
KD is Call of Duty. You want to fucking go kill 100 people, go play Call of Duty.
Right.
The scoreboard is gone. Traditionally, in the past, it would be like, yo, a kill is 100 points, a capture is like 500. You want those caps. You want to throw down ammo for everyone. I could be like, I used to be like 5 and 10, 5 kills, 10 deaths, but like second place on the team.
Right.
Because I'm contributing to the team.
Right.
And like, that sounds like a nitpick, but that shit is so incentivizing to just my morale and my contribution. It feels like I'm helping the team. Now, again, like I was saying, just when you capture a point, you get some XP, and you just don't feel it.
Yeah, it made it feel more unique. And like you could only get that in Battlefield, which was sweet.
Yeah.
But now when you're getting rid of that, you're just like, man.
Yeah. Which I feel like they can fix. I feel like a lot of these things we fixed.
Yeah, when I did
the cycle, baby.
Yeah.
The preview, the technical problems were definitely like the most concerning thing.
Yeah.
But I would say the thing that I liked the most, and again, it was a limited preview where we only got to do one map, but I liked what they were doing with that one map, right? So it's the one where the ship blasts off. Orbital, yeah. And just kind of how firefights played out in that map where it's like, okay, on the ship.
The maps are amazing.
Like going underneath, there's so much chaos that can happen. There's like snipers on this building that you have to zip line up.
Yeah.
And they're like, as you're parachuting down, you got people covering you. It felt like it kind of understood the inherent appeal of Battlefield of like chaos and strategy. You know, that synergy.
The criticism I cannot get behind or abide is the maps. I think it's the best launched maps in a Battlefield game ever.
Now, how many are there?
There's 7 only.
Okay.
But all 7 to me are amazing. I don't want to skip any. They feel different. They look different. I love the maps. And that's why I've actually turned the corner on the game, really. Because initially it was like, dude, just give me the classes in Portal mode. It's all I care about. But now I'm just so into the 2042 maps. Like in Portal, you know, you can do the classic characters on the old maps, which is cool, but like there's just something about these maps that I'm just like getting obsessed with. And just like the wingsuit, like off the building and stuff. There's like cool tools to take advantage of the maps.
Yeah.
But it does feel just overall, just the game feels more isolating than it ever has, you know? And I think, you know, the size, the lack of the scoreboard, the specialist roles.
Is it true? Because this was something that was weird during the preview. Is you couldn't like zoom in on the map, and they're like, "Oh, it's just something with this build of the game." And then I saw, then I saw in the full release, like you can't zoom in on the map. But it's like, why?
Yeah, why?
That seems insane.
Yeah, I'll want to spawn on my person, but then like they'll be on the point, and I'm like, no, I want. But then you have to click them. It's just like weird little.
Also, I hate that lie so much, where it's like, "Oh, it's just for the preview." No, it's fucking not.
Yeah,
you know, like
dude, preview event or review event, the first question was like, how are you going to stop XP farming in Portal? They're like, don't worry, we've got it. We're monitoring it. Day 1 XP farming, they had to just turn it off. They had to turn off progression in Portal.
Well, I mean, all of this stuff, it makes it just sound like they're not listening.
Yeah.
Like they're sitting here, everybody's screaming at them like, we don't like specialists, and they're like, no, trust me, you don't get it yet.
I know.
And that I think that disconnect is really poisonous.
It is.
And not to like bring this up again, but I think Halo Infinite is garnering so much goodwill where it's like, okay, this progression's a little fucked. We're going to do this for right now. And it's just like, like even just getting out there and being like, hey, we're listening, and having that feel genuine does wonders.
They did say they have addressed all those main issues, the reviving bug, the connectivity bug. Like they're like, we've got these this week, we promise. So I mean, they're on top of it. The game's been out technically for everyone for like 4 days.
Right.
Calm down, everyone.
Yeah.
Like, what is the rush? It's been 4 fucking days. This game's been in development for 3 years.
Well, I also think...
one side, obviously, your $70 game should work. I know you're going to say that, obviously.
No, I'm just going to say the game's not ready. It wasn't ready.
Sure.
Yeah.
But, like...
I also think there's a tremendous amount of hype. And you and I were feeling it as well.
Yes.
Tremendous amount of hype going into 2042.
I was expecting Goaty.
And
I am eating my words.
Hurts so much.
I know.
This was the year for them.
I know.
Especially
this was
the
home
Call
run
of
year.
Duty just being whatever.
I know.
Like they could have slammed it out of the park. I guarantee you, if they waited to delay this game even further, it would have been better, and it would have been received better.
I agree.
Yeah. I
It's like, think about Halo.
Think about the journey that Halo had to go on.
They fucking delayed it a year. People were pissed and shit. But then it's like Halo
was eating shit for years.
Totally.
But it seems like it's
free.
Sticking the landing.
It's free to play. It's free to play.
And so all those years of shit eating don't matter. Yeah. They're completely forgotten.
They fucked up. And like, I'm a lifelong fan, so that's obviously I'm willing to put up with a little more. And I'm used to shaky launches. Like, I remember the moment Battlefield 4, like a month after launch, when it all clicked. It was like another patch, and it was like, oh, here we go. Everything feels good now. Well, this will get there. Right. Will it be a month? Will it be 3 months? Will it be a freaking year? Is it dead on arrival? But like, I guess it's just frustrating because like this era is. Look at this bug, look at this bug, look at this bug, look at this bug, look at this bug. This game is only bugs. Yeah. I mean, you have mainstream IGN quoting a Reddit thread where someone was like, look at all these missing features. And it was just like this weird hodgepodge list that like kind of made sense, kind of didn't. It was like, well, that's not really a feature. Like, what are you even complaining about? And then IGN reports that, and then just the whole narrative is like, again, played 4 hours last night. It was perfect. Yeah. So it's just like that all or nothing mentality we're in, where it's like, yo, this game is goaty or this game is trash. Yeah. Yo, this game is flawless or this game is a broken pile of like worst reviewed bomb game on Steam now. It's just like. So exhausting, and it's so much, and like, I'm not excusing this launch at all, dude. This is a $70, one of the biggest game releases of the year, and it's inexcusable. Yeah. But it's like, settle down.
I certainly think that you have a point, right? Because with these big game releases, it's almost like an algorithm is like making these videos where it's like, you see the YouTube thumbnails and the titles. Can you believe how broken it is? Yeah. Some guy screaming his face off. The franchise is dead. And I guarantee you 6 months from now, you'll get the YouTube... Like, again, these titles fucking write themselves. Yeah. Where it's like, Battlefield is good now?
Yeah. Yep.
Guys, the latest patch, it's good. Yeah. Like, things are just so hyperbolic and sensational and predictable. It's frustrating. Not wrong, and it's very easy to be cynical about all that. But it's interesting because, like, you said, like, oh, hey, I'm 34. I've got more patience than most. Like, people are freaking out. I think that is an interesting perspective because I'm sitting here being like, okay, I'm 32. Like, there's so many things that I want to be playing that I don't have time for. Like, okay, it's broken. I'm just gonna move on to the next thing.
Come back around.
And I'm not trying to be like, oh my god. It's just like, maybe it'll be better later. I got like a zillion things I want to get to.
It totally will be. Yeah. Like Brad said, it wasn't ready. It just straight up wasn't ready.
Yeah. Right. So the thing about this is with Battlefield, I feel like this is, if it wasn't my job to cover these games. At some points, I wouldn't buy this game when it came out. Yeah, I just wouldn't do it because I know it wouldn't be ready.
You're right, dude.
I would just wait if I was into it, and like maybe if I waited, I would just get over it and I just move on to something else.
You're absolutely right.
And it's been a constant cycle, and it hurts. It like this may be an over exaggeration here, but it makes me think of World of Warcraft to an extent of just not getting it every time. Yeah. Just not understanding it. Like, you're not understanding the game that your fans want in a lot of ways.
Yeah. I think that's the weird sticking point for me. Yeah. Is it
the specialist? What the fuck is that? Yeah. What is that?
Yeah. If your entire community is up in arms, maybe
Overwatch
it's not the
is
right
dead,
thing.
dude. Why are we still doing heroes? Like, what do you want your fucking operators? Call of Duty did too. It's all because you want to milk the identities of the characters, skins, so people get attached, so they buy skins for the character. That's all it is. It feels so manipulative.
I think that's why
it's so annoying.
Halo Infinite is hitting so hard. Is it kind of feels like, hey, we got blasted for the last 2 games. We like took that in, and are like, here is what we want, and we think you'll like it too. Yeah, and I don't know. I think that goes so far.
Yeah, despite my qualms of this game, I do think there's some great moments that we've had that have been really fun.
That is definitely It's a very complicated situation.
We've played Battlefield for a long time. I'm thinking about like the average person, you know?
Yeah.
If you're an average person that plays, you know, you just buy your Call of Duties or whatever, it's like, why the hell are you going to buy this game and play this game when there's so much competition?
Yeah.
And you don't get a quality experience
because technically, for me, because I love the game so much, it's like Halo is way more polished, just a better product right now. I've had so many issues in Battlefield, but that's where I am. I have more fun because I like the style, you know. I love fucking buildings exploding. I love getting in a chopper, raining death, jumping out, parachuting, throwing grenades.
Yeah, and you don't have to be apologetic for that. I mean, like, again, going back to the preview, I walked away from that thing being like, I had a really good time.
Yeah.
You know, there are concerns, but I had a really good time. It's so funny because like I get you. I think what you're kind of boiling down is like underneath it all, your heart is going dun 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 dun. Like that's just in your soul. And like I have a super deep love for Battlefield as well. Like Battlefield 1942 is one of my favorite games of all time. But like what your Battlefield is, I think that's my Halo. Yeah. Like no matter what I'm
Halo,
in.
For sure. That's like Battlefield. No matter what I'm in.
Yeah.
It is such a bummer.
It's a bummer because it could be better and you see it.
Yeah.
You see the potential there.
Yeah.
And you're just like, damn.
Like this conversation in 6 months.
Yeah.
Well, it's so funny that we're having this conversation because I think...
We didn't even talk about Hazard Zone, but...
We didn't talk about Hazard Zone?
I was actually going to get into... I feel like no one is talking about Hazard Zone.
Yeah.
It kind of seems like a flop.
It's almost... It's really it's impossible to play on your own. Kind of, you know? Yeah. When you queue with randoms, it's just...
counter to every other design decision you've been telling me about.
I know. It's a mess. Really cool fundamentally, though, because there's 8 teams, 32 players only, but only 2 extractions. Only 2 teams can make it out. And I really like that. So there's an extraction in the mid-game and an extraction at the end game. So when you're going for the extraction, teams converging to that escape, it's amazing. So
nice.
Yeah, it has its moments.
That's really cool.
I've not played a match of Hazard Zone. Yeah. So curious.
And it has its own progression, like Counter-Strike.
Anyone who tries a new idea or something, I think is really cool.
I just want to play a game with you guys at some point. I know you've offered, and the schedules have been nuts, but
holidays.
Yeah.
And maybe they'll fix their game.
Like Portal's so cool in that game.
It's so cool.
Yeah, I think Portal's so sick.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's just getting overshadowed a lot. Like
people know.
But I'm saying the bad outweighs the good things. It does so much more.
Yeah. All the headlines and the narrative is just like hate.
It's really easy to pile on.
Yeah. It's the pile on narrative.
That's just the narrative of most things now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's a little more nuanced than that. So just don't listen to the clickbait headlines. Just like read all perspectives, because through all the warts and scars and issues, there's still some really
it's up to you
excellent stuff.
There's excellent stuff. You just got to think about if you want to
only listen to us.
Yeah, only listen to
us.
But there might be some Black Friday sales or something. Maybe I don't know. Yeah. So
it sevens.
I feel like my response to Pokemon Brilliant Diamond.
I'm sorry. Did you see how much that hurt him to say swimming in sevens about Battlefield?
No, I love how emotional this whole presentation was. I was actually really looking forward to Pokemon.
Oh no,
I was looking forward to these remakes. Here's why. I basically have no meaningful experience with Gen 4. And I was like, oh man, they're remaking this gen. Like, people speak so highly of it. I can't wait to go in. I love Pokemon. I can't wait to play Pokemon. I was truly looking forward to it. Because Nintendo didn't send us a copy, I laid down $59.99 of my own cash a Thursday night.
Wait, they didn't give us a copy, period?
They did. No, they didn't give it. They did give us a copy on Friday, but I was like, I want to get in Thursday night.
It's usually,
I want those extra hours.
Got it. Yeah.
I'm 10 and a half hours in to Pokemon Brilliant Diamond. I chose Diamond over Pearl. It's nothing. It's absolutely nothing. I don't know how else to say it. I think the most difficult thing about covering these games is how little there is to say. Like, I am at a loss for words. Like, multiple times, I've had to go to Google. Like, I'll get on my chair and be like, so what's new? Like,
nothing really?
No, there is, but it's just like the most nothing bullshit ever. Like, it feels like a factory made this game. Like, it's crazy. Where it's like, okay, the graphics are new, obviously, right? They're it's a brand new visual style. On some level, I appreciate the chibi look because of how evocative it is of classic Pokemon. It's kind of cute. But even that, it's nothing to, like, write home about. There's nothing truly, like, special about it.
It's not like when you're looking at Demon Souls, where you're like, holy shit, this looks good.
Right, and I realize this is a different thing on a different platform, of course. But even with that said, like, everything is presented so flatly. Like, there's no voice acting whatsoever, which is fine. But, like, the way the dialogue is presented, multiple times I'll just, like, tune out and be like, wait, what did they say? Oh, I guess it didn't matter. Like, it's just nothing. Like, like, your Pokemon, once you get to a certain point in the game, your Pokemon can follow, you can pick a Pokemon to follow you around, which has been in other games.
Let's Go, right?
Let's Go had it. It was one of the games that had it.
Are they to accurate size? If you get them to follow
that was fun.
I've just done one so far, and it seemed
Let me know how Snorlax is.
But yeah, I need to get like an Onyx or something.
How does Snorlax follow you?
What do you mean?
Well, in Let's Go, you hug Snorlax. Yeah. That's the great thing about it. Yeah.
Isn't he like sleeping?
He sleeps a lot.
Does he sleep long?
Well, you wake him up.
Yeah, you just wake him up. The flute, baby.
Yeah, I got it.
Anyway, like, something I do want to say is I like Pokemon enough that there is a base level of satisfaction.
Like me with Battlefield.
Yes.
There it is.
There is a base
level of satisfaction.
We all got our vices.
I like going and catching new Pokemon. Yeah. I have this OCD where I like collecting things.
Are you a shiny hunter?
I'm not a shiny hunter, but I could be, right? Like, I feel like I could activate that switch.
You need the right push.
Right. I need the right push, yeah. And so I'm enjoying that. I like these creatures. I love how comfort food it is. But goddamn, it is absolutely nothing more than that. This is the absolute bare minimum that they could have possibly done. And I was thinking about it. I was thinking about Sword and Shield, right? And I don't like Sword and Shield. I think Sword and Shield have a lot of problems. But my complaint with Sword and Shield is like, okay, they tried some new things. They failed. They didn't do them good. But they tried something. There is no ambition here. There's nothing. And like, as you go farther along, there are some things that are kind of cool. Like, I think the super contests are kind of cute. I think making this food for your Pokemon and doing the minigame. It's not, no, these are things that were in Diamond and Pearl before, to my understanding. Granted, again, I don't really have any experience. Yeah. But like you look into Diamond and Pearl and you're like, okay, these were big games because these were the first Pokemon games where you could go online, right? Like that in and of itself is so huge.
Yeah.
But playing it now, it's just, I was saying it before the podcast and I really stand behind this sentiment. I feel like the joy and satisfaction that I'm getting from this remake, I could be getting from any other Pokemon game. Like, I could boot up pretty much any generation and basically get what I am trying to get. I don't know what it is
I've
about.
always felt that.
Yeah, right. And you know, that is definitely a conversation that we can have. But for games that I was so excited to get into and that I've heard other people speak about with such fondness, I don't think that magic is coming across here. It just feels hollow.
Yeah.
Like they're just, this doesn't feel like a celebration.
That's how I kind of feel about Vanguard, Call of Duty. Not much ambition. You know, just doing what you're doing.
Going through the motions.
And like I kind of talked with Jones about this, just about if they keep selling,
what's the point?
The most copies out of all the video games.
Well, we talked about this on Frame
Like
Trap,
it's never, I feel like Pokemon will not take a risk until they absolutely need to. And like every single time one of these comes out, it does great sales-wise.
Right.
And even review-wise, I feel like the worst these games can do is a 7. Like they always bear it, like at least are in the, you know, they're always competent if bare bones or familiar. But I feel like these franchises are too big to fail and they won't take risks until they absolutely need to. I mean,
comparing it to Call of Duty, which I think is totally apt, right? So I think something that people maybe don't give enough credit to Call of Duty for is, even at its most shallow, Call of Duty feels incredibly good to play.
Yeah.
Like there's a snappiness to its gunfights. Like there's just like this raw, visceral reaction I have to Call of Duty where it's like, it's still really fun shooting things, right? Which is kind of the most important thing.
Aiming down the sights.
Right. And it's like, when I think about Pokemon, the same thing actually kind of applies where it's like, these creatures, how they're presented, this world that they create, all of the systems that they've built up all of these years, it's like, when I play other Pokemon competitors, I'm sorry, they're just not as good, right? And so for, like, in a vacuum, all of the complaints that I have about Pokemon are valid, but it's also kind of filling this niche that I don't think anything else is really
That's a good point.
Fighting against, right?
Yeah.
And so that is a really difficult problem where it's like, it's super disappointing, but it's also weirdly best in class.
Yeah.
You know, and that feels contradictory, but it's kind of true.
Yeah. It just, I think it's frustrating maybe because you know it could be better.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I don't have any expectations for it, but it looks like Legends is at least a little different and trying something new.
The new one coming out,
The new one coming out.
That one kind of has my radar tingling a little bit.
But that's the thing that I do want to talk about is I do think Legends is a very interesting prospect. I'm super excited to play it, but it is frustrating that I kind of feel the sentiment of, well, whatever about these remakes. Legends is right around the corner.
Yeah.
Right? And I feel like it's being used as a shield in a way that, like, I get and is true, but doesn't take away from my disappointment felt here.
Fair enough.
And, like...
Because Diamond and Pearl, these are, like,
DS
celebrated.
Ones.
Yeah.
You know, these
that's
are
what
huge.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
It just feels like, well...
Bare minimum.
We remake the games. It's Diamond and Pearl's turn. Here you go. That's what it feels like.
Yeah.
And again, I don't have that nostalgia for Diamond and Pearl, and so maybe somebody who it was their first Pokemon game or they have that undying adoration for, I get it. Like, I think part of the reason I enjoyed Let's Go so much is because of how closely connected I am to Kanto and all that stuff and seeing it presented in a new way. But man, fuck, Let's Go had more, like, it was more ambitious. There was more stuff going on at Let's Go. Like, this
was different, at least. They got me on board with Let's Go. I was like, oh, this looks like way different now. Let's go.
And it's like, what if you took some of the ideas that you presented in Sword and Shield and you blended them into, you know, these remakes of Gen 4? What if you did that? It's just like...
I have a question. So this seems very familiar or close to the original games.
Yeah.
Now, a remake that we all pretty much liked is the Link's Awakening remake, which is very similar to the original, but just a few tweaks.
Right.
What do you think Link's Awakening had that this doesn't have?
Right. So it's a really great question, and I think...
I know they're completely different games, but and it's a hard comparison, but I'm just curious. I'm just trying to look at this from a perspective I can kind of understand.
Right. And so the Link's Awakening remake I really enjoyed because, A, I love Link's Awakening, and I think the quality of that game carried through. I think if you look at it in a vacuum, it's actually a really good question that you're bringing up because it's like, well, there's not that much of a difference here. But even that game had the, like, make your own dungeon thing, which is kind of cool. It did something. But what I would say is I think looking at the series as a whole, right, where the general disappointment that I'm describing about with Pokemon, I feel like we've been having it for years and years and years. And
got it.
At least with Zelda, it's like, yes, you get this super faithful remake that really isn't doing that much different. I think that point is totally valid. But it's coming after Breath of the Wild, which completely flipped over the table and is one of the best Zelda games ever made. And so I think it's not even so much about this Diamond and Pearl remake on its own. It's just like that constant feeling of not meeting potential.
Got it. Yeah.
Right? Because it's like Call of Duty as well. I think that's kind of the same thing where it's not just Vanguard on its own. It's kind of this general feeling that I think has been building with the series over a long period of time. But it's a good question.
It's just like, that feeling, I guess, just over time or so many years, you're just kind of, you resent it a little more.
But I feel hypocritical because, like, one, I'm reviewing it, but two, like, even if I wasn't, I would play through this whole thing. I would have some amount of satisfaction. It's just like, what could have been, right? And I think about games that do remakes that do feel like a celebration or do get people in or do get them to understand what is so special about this thing. And like this just feels old and archaic and slapped together in a way. Because like, okay, so in the original Diamond and Pearl, and it's here in the remake as well, there's this something called this poke etch, where it's this watch that you have and it has all these little different apps, right? Perfect opportunity to like expand upon this idea and being like, okay, we're bringing this to a more powerful piece of hardware. We could do so much with it. You get the poke etch in the Diamond and Pearl remake, and you're like, there's a thing that counts your steps, there's a calculator, and to control it, if you're not using the touchscreen, right, if you're on Pro Controller, I have to awkwardly like move a cursor around because it's not a DS screen, I'm not using a stylus, and I'm not playing in handheld mode, and it's just like, this is just nothing, this is just awkward and cumbersome, and like doesn't really feel like it was thought through on this new implementation. You could have made new apps that maybe changed how you play a little bit more aggressively. And you do get new apps over time and you kind of build it out. But again, it just feels like a perfect opportunity where like any other remake would have seen this and being like, okay, what can we do here? This is a simple thing that we can analyze and adjust. And it feels faithful to a fault here.
Yeah, it's always interesting to see what really faithful remakes work and don't work, and
Demon
why.
Souls.
Yeah, Demon Souls is like super like the original, even down to the terrible enemy AI in a lot of cases.
Yes, absolutely true.
But it's like,
it's so goddamn gorgeous.
Such a goddamn gorgeous game, and it's still a really good game on its own. Still,
right.
So I can overlook a lot of it.
The other thing, because I know that this is a complaint that you constantly levy against Pokemon, is it's too easy, it's too easy, it's too
Tackle,
easy.
baby.
Yeah.
GG.
So
all you need. Prove me wrong.
The experience share in these remakes is ridiculous to the point where, like, I feel basically no punishment in
no fear as well.
Just using one Pokemon because my whole team is like at a sufficient level, right? You can't turn off experience share. It is there no matter what. It would have been like, why not give the option? Why not for people that want to do it?
They had like 2 modes that was more like the original DS and maybe a new one with some tweaks.
It would be nice if this wasn't nothing.
Yeah.
It's just...
Yeah.
I know, everyone complains about like from difficulty being too hard. Like, what about things that are too easy? Like, come on. Give us a hard mode. Like, give me a hard mode in Pokemon, please. Like, make it a survival game, dude. Make me out there grinding it out to, like, capture and raise these Pokemon up. Like, crank the difficulty to 11. Because right now, it is at -1.
It's not even that. It's not even about being difficult. Right? Because it's just like...
Let me have to use my skills. Use actual different Pokemon with different moves.
Right. That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's kind of the thing that people go back to and they rely on. And they're like, actually, like, if you really dig into the mechanics of Pokemon, there's so much going on here. But you don't have to. Right? And that's the problem. And it's not that Pokemon needs to be insanely difficult. It's not that I need to walk through tall grass and I'm getting one shot by a Pidgey. That's not what needs to happen.
No.
But you can present these battles, you can do things that make it a little bit more complex, a little bit more interesting, that rely on the mechanics that are already there in a way that is still approachable for a broad audience.
Like,
those don't have to be exclusive.
The amount of times I've destroyed a water Pokemon with a fire Pokemon, Ben, is inexcusable.
You just don't even think about it.
You don't even think of what the hell is the point of your entire video game?
The most basic part of Pokemon is type advantage and disadvantage.
Water versus fire.
Right.
Like, come on.
And you're just like, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine. Tackle.
And it's like, I feel bad because it's like, I'm creaming everything, and that problem is, and I felt this way in Sword and Shield as well. I'm creaming everything, and that problem is made only worse because, like, sometimes I like to hang out in an area and capture as many Pokemon as I can. But as I'm doing that, I'm getting stronger and making something that's already trivial that much more trivial. And it's like, part of the joy of this game is collecting shit. Like, what is going on?
I'd say that's a core of the game.
And so it just...
Or the core.
It's just nuts.
How's it been playing this after SMT5?
I think playing it it's such a good question, Brad.
That's refreshing, actually,
I think playing this after SMT5 is making me even more critical of it than I would be, because something that was so remarkable about SMT5 is how well designed the game was, in the sense that everything that was there, like this battle or this side quest or this way that I'm exploring this treasure that I'm finding plays into like the tools that I have, like digging into the game. The further you dug, the more satisfying it got. And here it's like, I'm forcing myself to dig into it. Like, yes, maybe if you get into competitive Pokemon, you can do that, but it feels like it's forcing it, whereas SMT5, very naturally, everything that I was doing played into everything else. And it just, like, of course, Pokemon is not going to be Shin Megami Tensei.
Right.
You know, notoriously
I don't think any of us
niche,
expect that
series,
either from it.
But, yeah, I
want a hard mode.
I think what was so... amazing, like you go back to the origins of Pokemon and you think about like it was a revelation where it's like a JRPG where you can not only go around and like capture creatures that you fight, but also you can link up with your friends and battle them and trade, and there are version differences. Like every single element felt so fresh and exciting, and I want Pokemon to feel that way again, and I'm hoping Legends brings some of that back.
Yeah. What was it before Sword and Shield?
Sun and Moon.
Sun and Moon.
Yeah. Ultra of that, whatever. They usually...
Yeah, there was Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah.
I desperately want to love Pokemon.
Yeah,
but
me
I feel
too.
like I just can't, man.
I dove into Let's Go. I dove into Sun and Moon.
Yeah.
And that was
I tried Sword and Shield.
I've tried so many friggin' times in my life. I'm done.
I want to be here, and I want to be like, listen, this is it. This is the one that's going to get you back on the train.
I'll wait for that call. Hopefully, Legends,
we need
like
the call.
It's funny because Sun and Moon were actually the ones that got me back on the train, and there are a lot of things that I like about Sun and Moon, but
I fell off.
Yeah, I don't know what. I'll see you for Legends. We'll evaluate it.
Hopefully, it's January, right?
For now.
Yes, I believe it was.
Wow.
Was or is January.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get paid, Pokemon Company.
Oh, they get paid.
They get paid every time.
They get paid fat.
They get paid every time.
Why change it?
Yeah.
No need. Assassin's Creed Valhalla, #1 selling Assassin's Creed game. Why make the game smaller? Why change it if it's the highest selling?
They won't. They
won't.
They clearly won't.
They
won't.
Like,
and I think that's what's so annoying is like I'm sitting here and like I'm getting worked up and I'm wasting all this breath, and it's like it just doesn't.
You're gonna go home and play tonight.
I'm gonna play because part of the reason is because I have to.
Yeah.
But yes, there is
Get to work.
Yeah. But it's also just like
the basic level you're talking about. I love it.
Yeah.
Just at a basic level, you just love it, dude.
Yeah,
you just love throwing the ball, catching the damn Pokemon.
Yeah, no,
it's so fun.
It's like, and there still is nothing quite like it, right? Like
building that dex.
There's nothing better, like nothing in that that competes.
I remember when Temtem was like hot, right? And people were like Temtem, like, whoa, cool. Temtem hasn't got shit on Pokemon, and I wish something did.
Yeah,
you know, like
I competition. Yeah,
Digimon tried.
Yeah, I don't know.
Monster
Isn't
Rancher.
Ed Sheeran in this one?
What?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Not that I know of.
Or some. Wait, is Go still a thing?
Pokemon Go?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Pokemon Go and Ed Sheeran.
I think Ed Sheeran's in Pokemon Go. Okay. You can like catch him or something, or was that a meme?
I don't know. I don't play Pokemon Go currently.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me, dude.
All right, it's time for the Sizzle. We're going to take a break from game discussion, and I want you to answer what is the worst Thanksgiving food / dish. You know what I mean. Worst Thanksgiving food.
Worst? Oh, man.
The turkey.
Really?
Yeah, it's the worst part. It's all about the sides.
Dude, good,
all about
juicy
sides.
turkey? You kidding me?
It's all about the mashed potatoes.
I feel like that's not an unpopular opinion.
The apple pie, like, the green
But what's
beans.
great about the turkey is you can like mix it in with other things.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it.
It goes well together.
I like it. The biscuits, like everything else is a
biscuits
10, dude. Like the turkey is like an 8 or a 9. Everything else is a 10.
You said my like cream corn, dude. I don't like it, dude.
I love cream corn.
I think some of that shit. It's just.
I haven't
bullshit.
had cream corn
it's
in
just
such
bullshit.
a long time.
It's just bullshit, man.
Love it.
Fuck that shit. I like turkey. I like turkey in general probably more than most people though.
I love turkey.
So
Turkey's good.
Yeah, some fucking weird shit like that. Cream corn.
Well, it's not weird.
It's fucking lame.
Cream corn,
Cream corn is a little weird.
It's lame,
like
bro.
one of the oldest dishes.
Go eat your cream
possible.
corn.
No, but like creaming up corn it's just a weird concept.
I mean, there's different ways to prepare
It's an
different foods.
inferior
I like
version.
You
There's
can have
nothing wrong with it.
corn on the cob.
I like cream corn.
It's wrong. and you should be ashamed.
Corn on the cob is dank.
Just kidding.
What?
Corn on the cob is dank.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, I think you said dead, and I was like, you shut up.
Oh, no, I love corn on the cob.
It's good.
So
It's good.
I feel like I've never had it, but I've never had it because it always seemed off-putting to me. Just like cranberries and sauce have always looked
cranberry
gross.
sauce.
Took me a long time to come around on that.
I've never maybe I'll try it and I'll love it. Admittedly, maybe I should
It's
make
a little.
an effort.
I
to
would
do
say
it,
it's a little off-putting.
Yeah, it just
love it.
everything about it looks like lumpy and gross.
You gotta take the leap.
Yeah,
I feel like you
It
gotta
helps.
be older.
to be fair, if I just looked at a bowl of cream corn, I'd be like, "This is weird."
It helps because the turkey's usually like turkey's kind of a dry meat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it
definitely.
helps.
Yeah.
Definitely.
It definitely
That's
helps.
what the gravy's for, dude.
Yeah. Dude,
Or
mashed
whatever.
potatoes.
Yeah, mashed potatoes are obviously god tier. No one's
S.
arguing against that.
Plus.
Mashed
Biscuits,
potatoes and gravy
Truman
are S
pie.
S plus.
Yeah.
I feel like I could have it every day.
Same. Top tier food.
Top tier. Absolutely.
Doesn't get better. Live for it.
This sizzle is brought to you by some wonderful shout out to your patrons. For this one, I thought, give me your best turkey shout out. As a turkey. Shout out to Elthanas, Greg the Dark Knight Kettering, Caleb, Togi, Crawford, and Nick. It's probably going to be really loud.
So be it.
So be it.
I'm the Batman.
Yeah.
Brad,
Yeah.
a lot of this stuff that we were talking about in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, I would say was pretty expected. Something that you pitched to me, though, I was not expecting, and that is Majora's Mask 3D.
Yeah. So this remake came out a while ago, actually.
So
Very
jolly.
long time ago. Yeah.
I've been playing through this game at night in my bed.
On the side.
On the side. I've been playing through this game. I've not played through Majora's Mask
I love that.
probably since 2002. Mm-hmm. It was probably before the Wind Waker came out. Was when I really played through this game again, like full playthrough. Yeah, so it's been a long time. So I've had this remake for a long time, and I played through some of it for, I believe, the review we did at Game Trailers. I captured footage of it, a lot of it for Damiani, I remember at the time. So I've been revisiting this game. I love Zelda. A lot of people know that Zelda's a very important franchise to me, and replaying this game has been just a really wonderful and also experience from like, there's some changes I don't really like about this version. One thing I'll notice, and everyone who's played this game knows right off the bat, is the tone of this game is super different.
Oh, yeah.
It's
super
awesome.
dark. It's a super weird Zelda. It's not there's no Ganon. There's like barely any Princess Zelda. It's like almost a side story. It's like Zelda Gaiden kind of thing like that. You're just doing this weird ass fucking game. The villain's super weird. This world you're in is super weird, but it has these really cool quirks I think it stand out and help it. I think that's why it's so beloved. It is, number one is the time system.
Lightning returns.
Yes, Lightning Returns. Yeah, it's very. When I was playing through it, I was thinking of Deathloop almost a lot of just
Nice.
repeating these kind of days. It doesn't work the same as Deathloop, but the sense of revisiting these days and events changing, and how well executed it is in this game for a game that had a year development cycle. Like, this game shamelessly reuses assets from Ocarina of Time.
Right.
Like, fucking
Remember when that was the biggest complaint gamers had? Reused assets.
It's like everyone from Ocarina of Time is back, baby. Like, every model. They're all back, but they're just different characters. You're in some weird different universe, but how well it works and how much I do not mind it. I don't mind that at all.
It's an incredibly emotional game, too.
It's incredibly emotional. Like, I haven't finished through it. Like, I've been playing through it very slowly. I just did the Woodfall Temple, but I remember a lot of the game, and it's like, this is a really special game, but I feel like some things are lost in this remake that I feel like help the original game. One is, I haven't gotten to it, but I know a lot about the issues is, number one, the thing that annoys me the most, the Zora swimming. The Zora swimming, Kira, you played this pretty recently for the first time.
Tough.
Back in the day when you got the Zora mask and you go in the water and you swim, you're just like, boom, you're flying through there. You feel awesome swimming in that water. Now, when you swim, it's just like slow swimming, kind of like how in like a lot of the other Zeldas. I'm like, man, this was such a standout feature of Majora's Mask that's just gone now. It really sucked. Like, it's not a terrible remake in a lot of ways, but it just takes some weird steps that I just don't like, and I feel it's lost in the original game. Another one that really bothers me is the way the moon looks. The moon just looks different now. The original moon had this weird expression that I could never pin down.
Iconic.
Of what it was feeling. It's just this weird face. Now it just kind of looks mad the whole time. And I'm like, man, you're just losing that.
Yeah.
And another thing is the save system is back on the old game, from what I remember, is you could save at an owl statue.
Yep.
But it was one time kind of thing, and it would go away when she came back in, and you'd have to reset the days a lot more. And you would like plan out your day a lot more. But now this time is you can just kind of save any time, which I understand. It makes the game a lot easier. I feel like this game makes the game a lot easier in general for people to get through. It's an easier version, I feel like, just all around. But I feel like you lose kind of some of that essence that made the original one special to me.
Sure.
I struggle and I think about this. Maybe it's just me having this boomer fantasy of like what this game used to be and what made it special to me at the time.
Right.
But a lot of people probably don't even give a shit about that kind of stuff. Like probably a lot of people things I complain about, people don't care. But at the end of the day, I still think this is an incredible game and definitely worth playing. And honestly, the easiest way to play this game nowadays, especially because the Wii U Virtual Console version is like bad. Like it's so frustrating because a lot of Nintendo's emulation I don't think is good, and the Wii U version's not good for a lot of their games. So it's really annoying. But despite some qualms I've had this, it's still been an incredible time going through it.
Yeah.
Like the boss of the Wood Temple, dude.
Is it the bull?
No. It's like the guy with the sword and the shield. I forgot his name.
So sick.
Anyways, back in the day, there used to be multiple ways to like take this guy down. You could just kind of figure out a lot of different methods. But now it's very much one method to take this guy down now, which I feel like it's like, why? You lose a lot of the creativity. You take away a lot of what made this fight fun, is just being able to figure stuff out like that. It's just weird choices like that that really bother me. But it's been really cool. Like, playing this game, I'm one of the few who thinks playing it in 3D is pretty cool.
Hell yeah.
Like, you don't get that experience from anything else except the 3DS. I've been really enjoying it. And just seeing this game in a new visual style that it resembles the artwork from the original games a lot more. But it's been a really mixed bag so far of me playing this. As, like, if you're not, like, this is a great way to play the game, and I highly recommend it regardless of the problems I have. But it's just been a weird experience, but still a good one.
Mixed bag.
I'm torn on it. Like, the things I'm harping on are, like, I think are super nitpicky for a lot of people. But it's just been weird for me. And, like, I'm really excited to dive into a lot of the side quests, because I don't want to ruin them for anyone who hasn't played them, but some of them are really sweet and really touching.
Yeah, they are.
And just the idea of this, okay, I was thinking about this when I was playing compared to Breath of the Wild. This present, like the moon, the idea of the moon falling and crashing into you, is a very strong presence throughout the entire game. You know, the moon gets closer to you as the clock counts down every day, and just coming there, it's this looming threat. And Ganon in Breath of the Wild is this terrible threat that's out there on the castle.
Right.
But a lot of it feels like outside of the rest of the game. Like, it's like at the beginning of the game, King Hyrule's like, go kill Ganon and help Zelda. But it's like,
it's a very distant
but it's
threat,
like, go,
so you deal with
go
it.
fuck off for 100 hours and do whatever you want. Which is fine, I get it. It's a completely different design. But this constant pressure I really love about this game. I love that feeling, and it's so distinct about this Zelda.
Well, and what's so good about the intro of the game is it's not like you were saying in Breath of the Wild, is you're like, okay, I know that's there, but what's it really like? In the beginning of Majora's Mask, it shows you. You go through and you're like, oh, this is what would happen if the timer gets down.
So
right? And so it kind of walks you
dude.
through it and really establishes that threat, I think, in a very credible way.
Yeah.
It's so intense.
And it's awesome,
love it.
going back to the transformations, how... Because, like, the classic thing with Zelda is it's like, okay, what's the new item that I get here? How is that going to go into puzzles and stuff? But it's like, when you completely transform and, like, everything you do feels different, it really makes those areas feel
like, how sick
super
is that?
distinct.
Dude, you get to play as, like, a Goron and a Deku Scrub and a Zora. That's super cool.
So fun.
Yeah.
Oh, they also nerfed that Deku stuff. So in the original game, you could spin... like your spin attack as you're moving to get a quick burst of speed. But now there's like kind of a wind up, and it doesn't seem like a big deal, but once you start really diving into the mechanics of the game, the spacing, everything, you notice it. You feel a lot slower.
Yeah.
It just feels like a weird choice that they made where I'm like, you didn't need to change that. It was fine before and fun. I thought there was something fun about it, and you just kind of took that away.
It's also just remarkable, like, how messed up the game is. Like, when Link puts on those masks and he transforms, how, like, horrifying
and
it
it's
is.
like,
how it's presented.
Getting those masks is, like, a really heavy thing. Because you think about, like, getting that mask is someone's, like, you get these from, like, dead people who died. You, like, get their essence, their soul, essentially. Like, that's pretty gnarly.
The Zora, right?
Yeah.
The whole Zora storyline I remember being way standout. Like, really, really good stuff.
Well, and it's such a cool... I love when a game is like, oh, you went out of your way to do all this stuff. Here's this awesome reward. Obviously, Fierce Deity is like so fucking epic and
really
cool.
It's really cool.
Yeah, going out of your way to do it feels fun.
But yeah, I've been really examining a lot of the Zelda games recently, and I always think about Mike, how he just says they're all 10s.
All main lines.
And there's things I love and don't like about all of them, but I respect all of these entries, and I just appreciate how different some of them are.
Yeah, I mean...
Such a risk.
It's so interesting that you're bringing Majora's Mask in this conversation that we're having about some of these things. Like, I wish there was a Majora's Mask equivalent for Pokemon. You know, I wish there was something... Like, think about it, because Ocarina of Time, one of the most revered games ever made, right? Just stunning reviews, changed the world, was really vaunted up as this legendary status. And then Majora's Mask comes out as this like weird black sheep immediately after. Like, that's the follow-up that they do.
Yeah.
I love that.
I had the gold Ocarina cartridge, one of the greatest games ever made. Played it at the time, obsessed. Didn't play Majora's Mask until a few years ago.
Yeah,
you know?
It came out a year later.
Yeah, I didn't have the
and I feel
money
like
for that.
It
maybe
didn't
as
make
a
the
kid.
splash.
Yeah,
I remember at the time.
Right.
It was just harder to like.
Right. So
buy
that
a
I guess
follow-up.
that flies in the face of everything that I'm saying. But I admire the willingness to do something with something that so clearly works.
Yeah, I admire its purity.
It's like a weird experiment that turned out better than it should have. I feel like this whole game, like this game being made in a nightmare, or in a year, it was like a nightmare for a lot of the staff. Like Anuma doesn't look fondly back at this game.
Yeah,
kind of reminds me of like Remake 3 in a way, or not Remake 3, Resident Evil 3 in a way. Just kind of this like offshoot doing like taking risks, doing some creative things.
Yeah,
it's interesting because at the time I feel like the response to Resident Evil 3 was that it's just more of the same.
Yeah, feels way different. Just their choices and stuff.
And also, when this game came out, you needed the expansion pack thing.
Yeah, you did.
And it's like, not everyone had that shit.
Can you imagine, like,
nowadays,
how hilarious it would be if Nintendo was like, take this black box with this red top and just slam it into your Wii and you've got more RAM.
But yeah, I highly recommend anyone who likes a Zelda game to check this game out. It's absolutely worth your time.
It's a must-play.
I think it is a must-play. It's a fascinating game, and I think it holds up really well. Like most Zelda games.
Also a good showcase of how convenience has evolved. That game is like kind of inconvenient. I mean, you go back to old N64 games in general.
Right.
You know, you put up...
It is more inconvenient,
you know?
especially compared to Ocarina of Time before it.
Just like thinking of games now, they're so accessible,
but this,
so easy to...
the 3DS one is more convenient. So if you're worried about that,
Good call.
Huber, you've been playing the Far Cry 6 DLC, which I have been very interested in.
I didn't even know there was DLC.
Yeah, the Vaas Insanity DLC, which I want to play and just haven't made time for yet.
Dude.
Hit me.
Ben, I got hit with the bug so hard that before I played this, I went through Far Cry 3.
Oh, wow. Nice.
What?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Hadn't played Far Cry 3 since it came out. Everything was hazy. I was like, well, gonna play that. This is such good DLC. Holy shit. This is a roguelite. This, you play as Vaas inside of his mind. There is a lot of story in this mode.
Not, I guess, what I would expect.
A lot of story in this mode. This is a must-play for Far Cry fans. And this is just, boiled down, this is just a really good roguelite. You are Vaas on an island, kind of like Far Cry 3 style, but there's like volcano, you know, it's Insanity, so there's like volcano with a skull on it,
crazy
and it rains blood and shit. There's a map that you need to explore, you know?
Does Raining Blood by Slayer play?
No, but there is a perk where you're stronger during the blood rain.
I like it.
Yes.
I want it.
This is just a really addicting roguelite. There are 5 difficulty levels. You start at 1. If you finish, you can crank it up to whatever. The higher you go, the more rewards you get. You get money. So when you kill enemies and open chests, you get money. You can then spend the money on permanent weapon unlocks. You can spend the money on permanent weapon upgrades. you can spend the money on perks for you. So like more health, more items, retain more money when you die. And the cool convenience is all those upgrades are permanent when you get them, and map discoveries are permanent too. So when you're exploring this map, even if you die, the icons and everything stay. So it's very convenient in that sense. The goal is to find 3 pieces of the dagger. Again, this is basically Far Cry 3-2. You know, like you are Vaas, and it is highlighting. All of Far Cry 3 is highlighted in this game. So Far Cry 3 spoilers galore. It is highlighting the entire game. One of the main characters you fight is Jason Brody. Just, he's got a ton of weaponry. He's running around. You got to kill him.
That's fun.
And you have to find all 3 dagger pieces in one go. If you get 1 or 2 or 3 and die, you got to do it again. And it's just really addicting. Like you start with your pistol, and you can go and do these there's like 20 icons on the map. You can go and do a weapon one. You kill a bunch of people, you get a weapon. You can do trials, which are, survive for a while, get a lot of money. You can also spend money. There are like 8 perk slots. You can spend more money to like unlock additional slots, because then if you pick up hearts from some special enemies, those are perks, like do more pistol damage, carry more ammo, speed increase after you slide, swim faster, like run, the whole 9 yards there.
Everything that you're saying sounds awesome.
It's so awesome.
But my immediate thing is like, I feel like all of these ideas would crumble because Far Cry 6 AI is so fucking terrible.
Yes.
That the fact that it was a roguelike wouldn't matter, because like even with the most basic equipment in Far Cry 6, you are a god.
Correct. So it gets easy pretty quickly. You can get through this thing in a couple hours tops. After an hour or 2, like, you're pretty strong. But in the beginning, it's pretty rough. And on the higher ones, because 5 mine levels, do mine level 5, get the secret ending, you're going to want to do that. And it's pretty challenging.
For story reasons?
For story reasons.
Okay.
Pretty challenging. And health doesn't regenerate. You have to use a syringe, so you can run out of those pretty quickly.
Okay.
It's definitely tuned better than the base game. There was definitely a little more pushback, but like you're saying, eventually it does get pretty easy. It's just Far Cry, It's
straight up thinking about, like, that to me was Far Cry 6's biggest failing is the awful AI and how much of a pushover so many things were as a result.
Give us hard mode.
Even a little bit more, I think, would do wonders.
I agree.
Yeah.
100% agree.
Yeah.
Give us a hard mode. Hashtag hard modes. But yeah, I was just really impressed. And it's really addicting. I mean, you finish a run and you're just like, I want to go again. Like, the currency, the economy, the tuning of that, I really appreciated. Every time I got a power, it felt so meaningful. Grinding up the money is like just slow enough where you finally get it and you're like, yes, it's not too much of a grind.
Cool.
Yeah, nothing more to say. I mean, it's just a freaking competent, sick roguelite with a lot of actually meaningful story, especially if you like Vaas and Far Cry 3. Like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's kind of cool that you say that, because before Far Cry 6 came out, I want to say I checked out the first Far Cry 5 DLC, because I was like, I never played the Far Cry 5 DLC. I'm kind of curious. And
I don't know if I ever did that one.
Yeah, it was set in Vietnam, and it also had
with Herc.
It also had like kind of a weird structure to it, where it was a little bit more open ended, and it seemed like it was trying some new ideas.
That's
and
right.
It's so cool that you're saying this is so weird and different, because I love that kind of creativity that they're bringing to the DLC, and it's not just like, oh, here's more missions with Danny.
Yeah.
It could have just been that. But the fact that you're in Voss's mind, right? And I'm curious, like, how are the other DLCs going to play?
Same.
I imagine it's going to be a completely different template. I don't know.
Yeah.
My question is, though, right, Vaas, very beloved, I could maybe see them leaning too hard to that, where like he maybe says too many lines or gets like a little bit annoying. or they just like they lean into it the wrong way. You know what I mean?
They did really well.
Okay.
And what a genius move too, stuffing it in DLC. Maybe this would annoy people, but I feel like it's actually the right way to go because the fans are playing, you know? Like if you're playing this Vaas DLC in Far Cry 6, like you're into Far Cry. Like I don't see how this could
what
be
you're saying though mechanically, like that just sounds awesome on its own.
It does.
You know,
it does.
without any of the the Vaas trappings.
Absolutely. Like boiled down, this is just a good roguelite. Like it is really, really good mechanically.
Yeah.
And I just really enjoy my time. I mean, this is like a weekend at most.
Yeah.
This will give you like 2 really good nights.
Yeah. Interesting.
Really, really good nights.
I was curious about it before, but now like you were making me super interested. Yeah.
I'm just thinking about it more, and especially going back to play Far Cry 3, like Far Cry 6 to me is the best Far Cry. Like I think objectively, like Far Cry 3 has really cool crafted missions.
Yeah.
Far Cry 6 doesn't really have that, you know? Like you just I felt like all the missions were like go in stealthy or loud. Go into this place and do it.
Well, and stealthy was just so ridiculous.
So like every kind of mission in Far Cry 6 is go in and blow shit up, and it's like that's kind of weak. Like Far Cry 3 has really unique, crafted, focused missions, but playing, I think Far Cry 6 is like just objectively the best playing Far Cry. And like
Far Cry 6 it really frustrates me because I absolutely think there's a ton of criticism that you can throw on it, but this sort of like snarky, dismissive attitude.
It's snarky and dismissive for sure.
That the collective has come up with is I feel like people aren't giving it the fairest of shakes.
No.
They're sort of dismissing it out of hand in a way that it does not deserve. I think there is more merit to that game
100%
than
agree.
people are giving credit for.
10 out of 10, 100% agree. And again, just playing 3 recently and thinking hard on this, it's the same game almost from 10 years ago. So I think that is exactly why. I think it's like you have already played that game. It's like technically maybe the best one, but it's the same, so the impact is like way lower.
Yeah. To an extent, like the blueprint is definitely the same, but there were moments in Far Cry 6 where I felt like, okay, this is all working together really well. Like they'll have moments, right, where you have to get into these chests, right, and you have to find these different things. It's like, oh, the level design here is actually good enough that it's like I have to stop and think about like how am I going to get up there and do this, and just that kind of design. And I loved just like customizing all the guns and how much like I love the Supremos as well. Yeah, I feel like each of them. Like it was like obviously you had the one where it's like, okay, do a bunch of rocket damage, but then you had other ones where it's like, oh man, helicopters are really annoying, so that Supremo that can just disable helicopters comes in handy. It's not as useful all the time as the rocket one, but it has its use. It's like I think there's like I'm not gonna sit here and say it's game of the year or the best thing ever or anything, but it's like I think there is more nuance allowed than the conversation was giving. Like it's not just every other Far Cry again. There is more going on.
Totally. Yeah. It's like Battlefield again, dude. Right. It's just these
it's like what
really
you,
loud
what you were pleading with Battlefield.
Really loud criticisms drowning out the nuance. And it's like, no, I think Far Cry 6 is one of the better ones, like maybe the best.
And I really liked a lot of what the story was doing.
I loved the story. Yeah. Oh, I really liked it.
I think Danny is
the best.
Yeah, she's great.
Oh, cool game, cool DLC.
Yeah, cool. I'm really glad that you brought it because it was one that I like put a pin on, but I was like, okay,
1 or 2 nights, dude. Yeah, 1 or 2 nights for sure.
Cool.
True Ending is on mine level 5 only. I made the mistake because I beat it on 2.
Okay.
And
do they like let you know?
Well, I finished it and then I was like just looking into the plans and like what's next and everything, just looking into everything as a whole. And then there was like, oh, the true ending. And I was like, true ending? Ooh.
Just play Returnal, man.
Next. Well, after Metroid. I know.
Metroid. I'm excited to get your opinion on Metroid.
Yeah. This was only like 3 hours.
I know, but...
I know.
So I'm going to talk...
I know, I fucked up.
Like, no one's beating that shit here as far as I'm aware.
I know.
I will.
Kills me.
I will.
I will.
I will. It's a great game.
100% I will.
Trust me.
Before Goaties.
Yeah, you're gonna.
I can count on you two.
Yes,
100%.
You're right. That's actually true.
Yeah, that's
you can count on us. The rest of them, I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about that.
Yeah,
I'll get there.
You're totally right about that. So it's cool because I feel like the last 3 games here are a little bit unexpected. I want to talk about Fatal Frame 5, Maiden of Blackwater, which just re-released.
On Switch, right?
Yeah, well, on Switch, on PC, and on PS5. I've been playing on PS5. PS4, you know.
You didn't go PC?
No.
Surprising.
No, here's what happened. Here's the full story. I wanted to go PC. They sent us a PS4, PS5 code. I don't remember which one it was. And then later they sent us a PC code. But I was already like too far in on the... Yeah, so that's what happened. Anyway, I think this game is definitely worth a look. And it is... So I played some Fatal Frame 5 on Wii U as well, and I liked it there. But the problem that I had with the Wii U version is I appreciated the idea that they had with the gamepad and like moving around to attack the ghosts. But it ended up being like more annoying than fun in a lot of instances. And so like you'd get done with the fight and you're like, that was kind of a pain in the ass. Yeah. I don't know if you agree with that.
I 100% agree, yeah.
Yeah. So that's gone. And so I think without like that hurdle, the fights that you're having with the various spirits are so much enjoyable. And Fatal Frame 5, I think, is exactly... So I'm 10 out of 14 chapters in, right? So I've experienced...
You're really far,
yeah, I've experienced a good chunk of the game.
And you're still enjoying it. My main criticism was that it was the same thing for the whole game. Like, the first hour was the same as 10 hours in. Yeah. Aside from the location.
So...
But I
can
remember,
kind of see where you're coming from.
I remember just being like, oh, there's nothing is scary anymore because I've been doing this for 10 hours.
Yeah. What I kind of... It's very slow burn horror, right? It is. It's not like an Outlast where, like, you know... Every 5 minutes you'll have like something big and crazy. It's very subdued in a lot of ways, but I think because the combat is so much more enjoyable and because you do so much of it, I think that has staved off some of the repetition. Nice. So there are 3 different storylines that you're going through, and you are revisiting locations. So I get where that sentiment is coming from, but it's been fun because it really very slowly reveals like, why are these people getting possessed? Why are they going to this mountain? What's going on? What rituals are they doing there? What is your history with this place? And like, it does the thing that I think Hubert loves, that if you do really lean into it, it's super fun, where it's like, okay, like I'm getting all of these notes, right? I'm getting all these notes from all these different points in time, and it's just like slowly piecing together this very grand mystery. And if you're not in the mood for it, it could go too slow. But man, there was a moment where I was like, oh, what a clever idea, where like you go back to this house, right? And you are like monitoring the different cameras that are in the house. So people are obviously going to compare it to Five Nights at Freddy's. But it was such a cool moment because like you're just going along and you're like, oh wait, something is there, and then you go and you investigate and you figure it out. And it cannot be overstated like how fundamentally good Fatal Frame combat is when it works, because I love the idea of like, okay, if you want to take care of this thing, you will do a lot more damage and you'll create this huge opportunity for yourself if you put yourself in harm's way. And so the way you do damage to these ghosts is you use a camera and you take photos of them. And you can do it when they're far away, but if you wait for the fatal frame when they're attacking you, you create this opportunity where you can take a bunch of photos and do a ton of damage. Yeah, I love that system, and trying to figure that out with the various ghosts is super, super, super cool.
And
go ahead.
10 out of 10 atmosphere.
Yeah, fantastic atmosphere. And that is added by an idea where I'm like, this is such a cool idea. I wish more horror games did this, where there's this system where the more wet you are, the more like vulnerable you are to hauntings and things. And so when you pick up an item, it really slows down, and it's like hold down the R2 button to pick up the item. And it's like, oh, here's some, herbal medicine that I need to heal. And every once in a while when you do it, a hand will come out and grab you. I love the way that they implement it, because it doesn't happen very often. It's actually extremely rare. But every time you like pick up film or medicine or whatever, it lets it there's the thought of it being there, which is super cool.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, and it's just it is genuinely creepy. I wouldn't say it's like by any means like the scariest game I've played or anything like that. But there have been moments, right? Like just a dollhouse, or like there's a moment where you go and you're trying to like take a picture of this person that's hanging, but it has to be the specific one. You like kind of go into this area and you just see all these people like hanging from trees, and you're like, this is just unsettling. Yeah. And so I think it is a game that, because it came out digital only on Wii U, everybody kind of ignored. On top of like kind of the wonky control stuff that I mentioned, I feel like this re-release is also kind of being forgotten, which is a bummer. But I think if you
actually thought it'd be bigger.
Slow burn psychological horror, I definitely think it is worth taking a look at. Something that it does that I don't like, and I get why it does it, but there are these moments where this big baddie will appear, and if you run into them, you just die instantly. But the way that it kind of works is it's just this sort of awkward trial and error where it's like, oh, I guess don't take that path, take this path. And it's like, I don't really feel like I'm like fleeing in terror or making meaningful decisions. It's just like, I'm dying until I figure out what you want me to do. Don't like that. Think that is bad. Also,
something about just exploring an empty Japanese house is like top tier, dude.
Yes.
It's the best.
And I should say,
it's the best.
Going into this, that there is definitely some bias because it's type of horror that it's doing and the places that it's. Yes, it is hardcore Japanese horror.
Creepy woods.
Yeah.
Empty house.
The English dub is pretty bad. It's pretty stilted and awkward in a way that, like, if it was going for camp, I think could work. But it is telling a very serious story. A lot of tragedy kind of mired in that. And so when you have this, it almost sounds like late 90s, early 2000s anime dub level of like, aren't we past this? You know? So that's pretty bad.
Budget.
Yeah. It reeks of budget. Absolutely.
I think it's time for a Fatal Frame reboot remake. Like next gen, next level visuals, out of control, small scale, hyper realistic.
That's actually something I want to say.
Let's go. VR maybe. Let's go.
On Wii U, this game looked great. And it still holds up. Like, it's still a very impressive looking game in terms of like character models and environments and stuff. It's a good looking game.
Like, if you went
but I get what you're saying.
Small scale, dude, and just like Fatal Frame. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's funny because, you know, Fatal Frame always does the third person, first person switch. Like when you're fighting, you're in first person, but otherwise you're exploring in third person. And I think about like because it has moments where like, oh, a ghost will suddenly appear out of nowhere and you have to quickly take a picture of it. I think about something like PT and like the psychological, like the environment is changing around you. I think you could do like a fully first person Fatal Frame. And maybe capitalize on that sense of deception or in some way. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. This isn't a serious
love,
but it would be
something.
neat. Yeah, I think Fatal Frame deserves a lot more credit than it gets.
It's crazy how some of these franchises have just gone. Like I know you replayed like Parasite Eve, obviously, dude. Like Parasite Eve, Clock Tower, Siren, Fatal Frame. Let's go. Let's go.
Bring it back.
Yeah, let's go.
Spin-off idea. Here's how you make Fatal Frame popular. Do a spin-off, but it's Pokemon Snap. But it's still really haunted and fucked up, but just with Pokemon now.
You just see like Pokemon dying.
Yes.
Getting eaten.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd be way into it, dude. I'd be way into it. Let's see if they're into this HOTTAKE. This has been a fun show. So I want to go back to Halo Infinite. We talked a lot about multiplayer. You know, we talked about Halo. We talked about Battlefield. Very passionate conversations. And I definitely think Halo Infinite right now is having a moment, right? It's definitely getting a lot of buzz.
Battlefield's having a moment. Not a good one.
Right. Which it's had before, you know? Like, it's so weird. But do you think, and maybe this is giving you too much credit, which I want to hear, but do you think the release of Halo Infinite has set a new precedent for multiplayer releases going forward? Now, let me qualify that, because it's kind of doing it's doing many things, but first it's free, right? And so it's this like whole component of the game that is coming out ahead of the version that you need to pay or have Game Pass for, right? So that's kind of like weird in and of itself.
Really weird.
And is worth
$60
analyzing.
campaign.
But it's also coming out free to play, like I said, but it's also coming out in beta, right? And so it almost has like this protective barrier around it,
right?
Where like people have criticisms, right? We talked about the battle pass and the progression. People are like, oh, this isn't very good. It has kind of this like, well, it's not,
but
really
it's beta
out yet.
It's
kind
free,
of going around.
It's beta,
and I could see other games seeing the benefits of that and being like, do we need to like fully release our game?
I mean, Fortnite's obviously free, but that wasn't a big deal when it happened because it wasn't as big yet. I think Call of Duty Warzone was the game changer. I think Call of Duty coming out for free for people when that happened, when that was announced, that was the most insane thing we'd ever heard of.
Right.
Call of Duty is free? What?
And you could maybe argue that Warzone influenced the release of something like Halo Infinite.
Absolutely. So I think this is further adding to that. I think Call of Duty like kind of changed the game by being free, and then now Halo is like taking it another step. Because instead of just one mode, Warzone's just Battle Royale. Right. You get all these modes.
Yeah.
But it's so interesting because now with later releases of Call of Duty, they'll talk about like how the new release affects Warzone.
Yeah, it's bizarre.
Right. And so it's kind of tying back into that thing. And so do you see that happening for Halo, where it's like, let's say Halo Infinite 2 comes out and it's like, this is how it will affect the multiplayer portion. Like, will this become its own
like
living
a separate entity?
Yeah. That gets evolved over time.
I think that's how it's going to be.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Yeah. Does that, like, I guess the first question is, does the existence of Warzone and its structure take away some enthusiasm from a new Call of Duty release?
For me, no, because I like the deathmatch and like domination and hardpoint and kill confirmed so much. Like, my favorite way to play Call of Duty is just mosh pit, like lobby. Let's go. Let's get new mode. Like, that is the appeal to me. But Warzone definitely takes away a lot of the love. Like, Modern Warfare kind of got shafted when Warzone came out. Not shafted, but like the entire conversation was about Warzone.
Yeah. And I feel like people just kind of go back to Warzone eventually.
Yeah, it's just every Warzone. Everyone's freaking obsessed with Warzone. And it's like, I just like my shotgun on the house playlist we were doing. It's out of control. But I think Halo, I don't think it'll be like that. But and I think when this campaign comes out, I think everything's going to be like it is for a while, years. I don't think we're going to get a new Halo for a good amount of years.
So I want to talk about that.
This is kind of the end of it. The end of the beginning of the end of the beginning, the beginning of the end.
I mean,
it's a new era. It's going to like close out, that story, but then
no, it's not gonna. I don't think Halo campaigns are going to go away for a long time.
Darkseeker Saga is closing down.
The arc.
Yeah.
I don't know if this. Forgive me, I'm not a Halo expert, but I don't know what the fuck's going on in this story. So maybe someone who knows what's going on with Halo could
split off multiple Cortanas, rogue AIs, bullshit. It's been a minute.
I don't know how much I want to say because I don't know if it.
Just play it safe, I guess.
But anyway,
well, those games are old, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, it is. It's pretty old.
It's been a minute.
But yeah, you kind of touched on something that I think is really interesting. Like, can you wait? Can you afford to have these think about it. I don't even remember. Was it 2015 that Halo 5 came out? Like 6 years? That's just a long time.
Yeah.
Whereas I think about like Fortnite feels like it has some, earth-shattering thing like every couple of months.
Yeah.
Right. And obviously Warzone is constantly getting updated as well. Right. Like, and Halo is kind of being celebrated. And I think part of the reason it's being celebrated is because it's like, oh, Halo is exciting again. Like, how do you continue that momentum?
Yeah.
And how important is doing that?
Yeah.
Super important.
Yeah.
I think it's super important to constantly evolving that game because it's competing with every shooter, even if they're different types of shooters. Like, it's competing with Fortnite.
For sure.
It's competing with Call of Duty and like Warzone. It's Apex Legends. Like, they're different modes, but they sure as hell is competing with that. So I think it's super important.
Yeah. I hate to look across the aisle and just say do that, but it's like,
yeah,
Fortnite is the gold standard for me in terms of incentivizing you to return. Not only with how good their battle pass is, just the gains and just like
just how much the game changes,
how many the map changing, the additions, like everything is constantly changing, and you're always incentivized to come in like you're gonna miss something, or like even if you're not gonna miss something, it's like, oh, that's cool, I want to check that out. So Halo, like I kind of said earlier, just the season being about reach, I think like leaning into.
I think that's really smart.
All your other Halos leaning into like, you know, crossover shit, like have some Gears event, not like Gears of War lore, but like Gears of War items and skins.
That's actually something that I wanted to touch on because you think about Warzone and especially Fortnite, a big part of the appeal is like, holy shit, Naruto's in Fortnite because it plays loose like that, where it's like anything can be in here, and that's part of the fun. That's part of the appeal. Whereas like Halo, you know, you do the tutorial for the multiplayer, and it's like, no, it's trying to like contextualize this in universe. Like, yes, it is goofy, it can be ridiculous, but it is very also serious about the lore in its own way. So it's like, can it do those kind of crossovers? Is it willing to do those crossovers? Should it do those kinds of crossovers?
Willing and should be those are interesting questions.
Right.
Yeah. I honestly have no idea, Ben. I know I just know they're going to lean into other Halo games, obviously. I mean, but
that's a limited well, right?
That is
like
a limited well.
Talking about a pipeline of years.
Yeah.
Right?
I just like wait for the updates for the add elites or whatever. You can play as a multiplayer, something like that.
Yeah. Horde modes
But
I feel like you can make a lot
I don't know if
of modes.
Marcus Phoenix necessarily is going to drop in, but maybe you can get some Gears of War themed armor or something like that.
Yeah,
maybe
think
the Lancer will be in the game for a little bit.
Right, and so you just touched on what I was thinking of, where it's like, what if you just do limited time events, right? Where it's like, okay, the Lancer's not going to be in the game forever, but, you know, assassinations aren't in the game yet, so... We're going to have assassinations, and one of those you can do is you have the Lancer chainsaw, and you're, like, cutting up somebody. That would be fun, and it's like, it's only going to be this month. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I think
like
that
limited time modes.
A Locust or something for a month. I don't know.
Yeah. Limited time modes. As long
I
as
think that's a smart idea.
they're fun.
And I feel like that's what a lot of people lean into with Battle Royales. Like, I don't know about Apex Legends. I'm not really sure what they dive into, but it's like Fortnite does it. Call of Duty's got, like, action people in it now. Like
Rambo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
John McClane.
Judge Dredd was in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think something that is kind of in the spirit of Halo, right, is you have Forge and you have people making up these modes, and you kind of get like the community rallying behind certain things. I think that is a huge part of what makes Halo special, and I think they should lean into that experimentation and like,
special event.
Hey, we're gonna try it, and maybe it'll take off.
Some kind of Destiny event, perhaps.
That would be so
that'd be electric,
weird and wild.
It'd be awesome.
That seems like Bad Blood,
like,
but
no
maybe.
Way. It'd be so sick.
A sparrow just spawns into the map.
It'd be fun. Headlines, let's go. I mean, that's the kind of shit that just gets everyone talking.
Yeah, you put a Guardian in there, and you put some Halo thing in Destiny. I don't know. Yeah, it could be sick.
Cortana, like
that would be
sparring with a ghost.
That would be earth-shattering. Is the Halo Destiny like crossover event?
Yeah,
like
because
how would you miss that?
That's genius,
you couldn't
man.
miss it.
You couldn't miss it.
You couldn't unmiss it.
And I feel like there has to be like they have to be on some
communication term.
Yeah. I don't think there's Bad Blood. I mean, maybe with obviously like Activision and
right.
I mean, they're not. But they're not part of that.
They're not even. Yeah, exactly. But
they should absolutely.
I think 343 and Bungie are like.
Yeah, maybe
no quarrel. Yeah, that'd be sick. Because like you were saying, just the short, limited well. It's like, dude, if you just keep adding like color palettes, and skins, like that stuff gets boring. That stuff gets tiring.
It absolutely is going to get boring. Yeah.
So. Like Fortnite, there's been so many times where I've been like, all right, don't need any more skins. I'm good. I only use so many as it is. Like, it's pretty hard for me to want to change from Kratos or Sarah Connor. Like, those characters are so close. And then they're like, oh, Jill Valentine.
Yeah.
Oh, Naruto. Yeah. Kakashi. Like,
Fortnite's just like an endless well of pop
Batman,
culture.
Star Wars. It's like pretty hard to compete with.
They have the most. They set the precedent of being able to do weird, crazy shit like that. Which is cool.
The thing though, which I'm like, there's still potential to overtake Fortnite in that sense. Is like usually that's just skins. It doesn't really do anything. Like it's cool to have the Leviathan axe and do a taunt and it lights up all frosty, but it's like you can't really you can't throw it. You know, you can't get your Blades of Chaos out. You're not Kratos. They have those limited modes and like during this Naruto thing, they have like a paper bomb you can get, but like really there's not a ton of stuff in relation to the property.
When Thanos came in,
and like
some of that
Star Wars, but it's so rare.
Right.
But if these Halo events, like if a Halo 1 event is like, yo, like like the Master Chief Collection where you could make the graphics like Halo 1, like maybe you can do that. Or
no, think about it. Think about how fucking broken the Halo 1 pistol is.
Yeah.
Have that be a power weapon.
Exactly.
It's built into the structure of Halo, these power weapons, and like, how much fun that would be to have that ridiculous pistol again going.
Yes. Yeah. So just make it more impactful to the gameplay rather than a cosmetic.
Yeah.
So I think there's potential there.
Yeah, there is a lot of potential. It's just, I hope they go for it.
Yeah,
for sure.
But back, I guess, to the original question: do you think there's enough that Halo is doing right, or that other games have done right recently that we will see more of in the future? Like next Battlefield. Like, is there going to be a mode that they release for free?
Yeah, I always think about what if Call of Duty multiplayer is just free.
Absolutely.
And like $10-20 for a campaign or whatever. Yeah. But it's like
Battlefield is so confusing. What the hell? Like kind of should be free. Maybe like Hazard Zone goes free.
Yeah.
But that'd be weird. That's such a small part of that whole game. But
I know, but like
that could be a free mode.
Could be.
Cuz like I could see Portal being free, but then you get everything.
I feel like just from a marketing perspective, though, it just does so much work for you. Where it's like think about we've talked about it over and over again. All of the headlines, all of the like, oh my god, it's so broken. Imagine if it was buffered by the fact that it's just, it's free.
Yo, just wait, come back to it in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
nothing to lose, no worries.
Right.
Yeah, totally,
definitely,
totally.
Yeah, especially bad right now because of Halo being free. Just like shoot, man.
PS5, dude, $70 for this game.
Damn. Yeah,
$70.
It's an investment, man.
I'm playing on PC, but
and then there's like
only 60 on PC
additions that you could get that give you early access.
$100, yeah.
Like I legitimately wasn't sure when it was actually coming out.
Yeah. A week early for like a way broken version comparatively.
Yeah. Honestly, Ben, I think if they just added skins in from every Halo for a while, that's like more than a year.
That'll last a while.
That's like.
I think that's cool.
While.
I actually really loved the idea of, hey, we're doing a special event. It looks like Halo 1.
Yeah, that's like that's what you really want. Yeah. I'm just talking about like they do the bare minimum.
For right now, I totally agree.
Like how sick would it be you could just get like the ODST armor or something like that.
Dude,
you're just like sick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just jacked to get that samurai armor right now.
Yeah. Give me that. Now.
Give me that.
Playing 24/7 till I get that. I'm not stopping.
I want it. Are we ready for some emails?
Yay.
First email comes in from Brandon. Really like this one. Very seasonal. As we're here during Thanksgiving week in the U.S., I wanted to ask you, Panna, what are some of the best examples of giving as part of gameplay or quests you've seen in a game? Whether it's helping an NPC, gifting a thank you to our teammate or fellow player in a multiplayer game or MMO, or something else entirely, do you think more games should incorporate more mechanics or opportunities for players to give in a game? Thank you for taking this email. If you do, happy Thanksgiving and stay easy, fellow allies.
Giving people med packs in every Battlefield except 2042 is my favorite thing.
It's pretty
they took away one of my favorite things in video games. Like, you have no idea how much I love the simple pleasure of sprinting into explosions and chaos just to throw a med pack down for my team. I'll blow up, I'll die, sure, but that med pack is going down for you. Missed that. Really missed that. Giving gifts to confidants in Persona.
That's a good one.
10 out of 10.
That's good because you got to make a choice. It's like, who am I spending time with? Who am I? Yeah. That's a good one.
I don't know necessarily giving a gift, but I think of something being helpful. I immediately thought of Terrytown from Breath of the Wild.
Oh,
like
sure.
helping this town build and helping people move in. Just really heartwarming, and it like, ends with the wedding and everything like that. Makes you feel like you really impacted these people's lives
10 out of 10.
in a good way.
10 out of 10. Was that entirely optional? Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
10 out of 10.
It's optional.
10 out of 10 the best.
Dragon Quest X, when I played that.
10?
Yes.
10. 10 offline,
Yes.
Japan only.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Shit.
I was kind of blown away by just how like nice everybody was, because there's a mechanic in the game where like you're battling, somebody can come along and just like cheer you on. And I just remember the vibes that when like, you know, just total strangers just being like, hey, what's up? Yeah,
so
like
sick.
keep going, man. Like it was a very small thing, but I think it really contributed to a welcoming and friendly vibe that I appreciated.
Cool.
Yeah.
Anytime in MMOs when someone runs by and buffs you,
Oh,
10 out of 10.
I actually
Boom, here's a buff.
really love the player accommodation system in Final Fantasy 14 as well, where like you know, like you did a good job, and you're like you're a little proud of yourself, and then you see you received a player accommodation, and it's like cool. Someone else thought.
here's the thing though with that.
Yeah.
I've played
Healing and
tank
tank every time.
DPS.
Every time.
Got it way more whenever I
Oh,
play
absolutely.
tank.
Oh, you
Absolutely.
did it every time.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Every
yeah,
time.
yeah. No.
It's
100%.
like, I can bust my,
is-
my ass off as DPS and no one
Yeah.
notices. I'm like, damn.
That is
No.
totally true.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tank and healer every
But
time.
it still feels good when you get one.
Yeah.
Especially when you're DPS. You're like, oh, shit.
Yeah. I think that's why it feels special, like playing DPS, where you're like, oh, like I got it. Our next email comes in from Marchin. Hi, Ben and Allies. Now, Age of Empires 4 is already over 2 weeks old. I think more than that at this point.
Dude, Isla and I were supposed to play
And
this.
it already feels like its time has gone without ever being in the
See,
spotlight.
This.
While it's probably a normal thing being out of the discussion super fast for so many games today, especially single-player games like Guardians of the Galaxy, Kenna, and Tales of Arise, I thought a multiplayer title like Age of Empires 4 will have a bit more traction. A bit longer. Many of the outlets I follow did not even cover the game very much, as far as I'm aware.
We're going
EA
to.
also did not. Which
We're
was
going
probably
to.
the right decision looking at the overall gist of the game.
We played Wildermyth first. We're sorry.
I myself was so excited for Age of Empires 4, and even with Game Pass, couldn't bring myself to play it. One of the reasons being I'd rather play something on the TV with a controller than sit on the same table that I do my home office work for another 4 to 6 hours.
Ditto.
Let me just get through it real quick.
Ditto.
I wonder if that's the only reason, or if I just didn't feel the zeitgeist I saw with Metroid Dread or Forza Horizon 5. What got me thinking, are Blizzard and EA right putting StarCraft, Warcraft, and Command & Conquer on the shelf? RTS games feel like, since they're very complex games, they do not generate the return on investment and interest for those IPs.
Niche,
My
for
question
sure.
is, do you think we will get a AAA RTS at some point, or are those days gone forever and ever? And if so, why do you think that is? Are Dota-style and Battle Royale games the reason for the downfall? If you still have hope, what do you think it would take to see a resurgence of the genre?
Okay.
It's definitely not their time right now, you know?
Right. Like, there's still some, like, high-quality ones out there, like the
Absolutely.
Warhammer ones and stuff like that.
And a lot of, what the hell's the name for them? Just like slower paced ones, like Frostpunk.
Oh, 4X games.
4X.
You're
like,
thinking of like Civilization or
Civilization. I feel like real time strategy.
You're thinking of turn-based strategy games.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah.
yeah.
And 4X for sure. Yeah. I feel like those are niche but thriving.
Right, and so that's kind of what I wanted to get at, because it's so funny reading this email. The exact same thing happened to me. I've had Age of Empires 4 installed on my PC.
It's installed. I'm ready to go.
Weeks and weeks,
Yeah.
and I just like haven't been able to cross that hurdle and actually sit down and play it yet.
Yeah.
But as somebody who is an avid lover of fighting games and JRPGs, not everything is going to reach the same level of success.
Absolutely.
You are going to have some niche things, but I think within their own genres they can thrive, as you guys were hinting at. And it's like, just because I don't think there is maybe a lot of overall or mainstream buzz with Age of Empires 4, I don't necessarily think that means it's doom and gloom. The problem that I run into is, like, in middle school I loved Age of Empires 2, but I'm not like a huge Age of Empires guy, and so I'm not really in tune with that community. I can't really tell you how well it's doing, but if it's crossing its own barriers, I think that is reason to celebrate. Yeah.
I feel like more people are playing the remasters of 2. It like just came out pretty recently. I read like the PC Gamer article about it, and they're just saying like, "Yo, 4 is cool because it's newer, but like remaster over here with 2 is like better right now."
So that's actually something huge that you're reaching into.
Yeah.
Is sometimes in genres you have games that are just so good at that particular genre that they struggle by point of comparison. With StarCraft 2, it was constantly compared to StarCraft 1, and you had
Brood War for sure.
You had
Brood War is a flawless game,
right? And so that's the thing where it's like
it's perfection.
It's like they kind of already perfected the wheel,
yeah.
And it's like the new game is being criticized and compared to in a negative way. The old thing, I think RTS has that problem in abundance.
Yeah,
right.
Like
where,
Red Alert 2
Yeah.
is perfect. Is it Red Alert 2 or 1? I think 2. Red Alert 2. Red Alert 2 is like perfection.
Right.
Here's the thing with like, okay, so I do think MOBAs killed a lot of the momentum RTSs because at the time, RTSs were the kings of esports.
Yeah.
And that whole audience that was into that pretty much moved on. Number 2 is 2 of the biggest RTSs out there are like dead essentially, which was StarCraft and Warcraft.
Yeah.
And I think with StarCraft 2, Huber, I think honestly having 3 versions of that game did not help it.
Helped me. I love
it. Helped you, but like I remember when that StarCraft 2 came out, people were like Terran only kind of thing at the beginning. I think you get your one game and your expansion, and that's what RTS fans were used to at the time a lot of times.
Yeah.
And I think that hurt it. And I feel like it's a very intimidating genre for people to hop into.
Dude, it is. Yeah. Like, there was a time where I was just like trying to get into StarCraft 2 and watching videos, and it was like this, and even today, like playing RTSs, it is like that has an appeal and a value, but it's like, oh God, like, and I already go through that with fighting games. That like sitting down for an RTS is it's a lot of work, and that can be so rewarding, and I think that's so valuable. This is not me slamming it, but like, at least with a MOBA, it's like I'm managing one character and I'm coordinating with a team. It's something crazy when it's like, okay, I've got 3 bases that I'm managing, trying to make sure I'm doing something productive. I'm also trying to harass this person. I have to like the amount of like mental effort it takes to play a RTS competently is nothing to sneeze
It's
at.
very intimidating. Yeah, and it takes a lot of work, and you have to work at it. It's like if you want to be really good at a fighting game, but even it seems like a heavier barrier to entry because in a fighting game, even if you don't know what you're doing, you can throw some punches and have a good time.
Right, and there's like, games now. It's like, well, here's an auto combo. If you just mash square, you'll do something. It's like,
Sorry about Crusader Kings as well. It just came out. Like the genre is doing well. The 4X genre is real time. I think is taking
has like a lot of elements to that of like making decisions and stuff like that.
Yeah. But I mean, that just came out, and that got 10s from numerous places.
Oh, yeah.
Right, but...
So I think real-time strategy
but like,
is
how many
kinda...
new people are coming into these games,
I had never played
games.
Crusader Kings.
I'm talking about, like, RTS, like, younger audiences, like, not a lot as much.
Yeah. And they're so PC-focused.
Yes, they are.
I still think, like, PC gaming is massive, obviously, but I still think it is inherently, like, less so than an Xbox. Like, a lot of people that...
Well, I think it's just easier to get into a console game off the bat for most people. You just buy the box, you plug it in, you go.
Like, there's something just hardcore about playing a strategy game on your computer. I just
And
I don't know.
The other thing with it is you have to go, I think, where... Because RTSs, I think, fundamentally in a lot of ways, are really built around a competitive scene. And there was a period of time where it was kind of a dominant genre in the competitive scene. And it's not anymore. And I think that is a huge part of it.
Yep.
I think something that is exciting to watch because there is this credible community around it where you have these legends that you're excited to talk about. Like... Fighting games, in a lot of ways, have that because it's like, oh, it's fun watching this legend go from game to game to see how they're going to do. Like, I'm going to show up to see how well they play Samurai Showdown or, King of Fighters 15 or Guilty Gear Strive or whatever it is. And that person is helping so many different games. But if you don't have that in the genre right now, it's difficult.
Yeah.
Seriously. I love that. It's like, stop hating on the competition. Celebrate the competition because competition is good. It makes... developers try harder. Like, we're competing against this thing. I feel like Blizzard's downfall with StarCraft and everything, like by StarCraft being irrelevant now, like it's hit the whole genre.
Oh, absolutely.
You know?
Because StarCraft was such a dominating force. Yeah. It's like,
the whole genre's suffering. So it's like, yo, celebrate the competition. Like, don't.
Yeah.
Like, you can have your allegiances, but like, don't fully just disregard the other side. I don't know.
And it's also like, if a publisher is like, okay, we want to make a new game, I think going into RTS is going to be a harder.
Totally.
You to invest a lot of money in,
Some investors like, what are they playing on Twitch right now?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
it's like, oh, okay, Battle Royale, MOBA,
but
MMO, okay.
It's sick. They're still around. They're still coming out, which is great, you know. I
think it's really cool that, you know, given the opportunity for like a Mario and Rabbids game to come out, they didn't make a platformer. They made, you know, an XCOM game.
Yeah.
And so I think that can carry a lot of it too, where it's like when you have those opportunities with big names, that will inject a lot of
trends come and go. So who knows?
Yeah, who knows?
Yeah.
All right. Our last email comes in from James, who asks a very simple question. Hey, Ben and participating allies. After the debacle of the Grand Theft Auto Trilogy Definitive Edition, I was wondering what improvements you would make to each game in order to turn the utter shambles of the real GTA trilogy into a definitive edition that truly lives up to the term definitive.
Remove all the bugs. Done.
I'll start small and just get that frame rate steady.
Yeah.
And
bugs,
locked.
technical. Everything else is fine. Like, I know people don't like the art style. I love it. I've been playing a shitload of this.
I think the problem with the art style that I would push back on is the inconsistency. Yeah. Like, there would be moments where I'm like, oh, this looks pretty good, and then I'll see a face, and I'm like, this looks terrible, right? And so you shouldn't. I feel like that reaction shouldn't be there. I feel like there should be
more consistency.
It'd be sick if you could play the original versions in that
toggle.
Yeah,
yeah,
or like even just like a separate mode at like a title screen or something.
They should have been just in the package, man.
Classic remake version or whatever. You know,
they should have just been
give
in
you
there.
both options.
Totally. You boot it up. Classic or definitive. What do you want?
Yeah.
I realize that music licensing is a nightmare.
Yes.
And that like it's impossible to. Yeah. But the question is, what would you do? And it's like for a series where the music is so important, every single track that was in the original has to be in the new one.
It has to. It's like the bare minimum. Like, I want to know how much this franchise has made Lifetime.
Yeah.
And they can't pay some licensing fees.
Sometimes it's more than that. Yeah.
Still, like...
Yeah. Like, Lionel Richie just, like, did not want to be in it. He fundamentally disagrees with,
Well, that, then, okay.
Right, so it's... I'm just saying, like, hypothetically, though.
Good call.
It would be nice.
This is another one of those instances where it's like... I did a whole syndrome on this. It's a fucking mess. But then I have a night where I play 10 missions and no problems happen.
It's your Pokemon. It is. It's your Pokemon.
It's GTA.
Yeah.
I'm biased.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm obsessed.
They're phenomenal games.
Yeah.
Fundamentally.
Like, pulling a bank heist, you always make fun of me because I say top 3 things of all time. Like, bank heists are definitively...
I just made fun of you in the moment. I'm not doing it every day.
Bank heists are top 3 definitive things. Obsessed.
It's weird because I feel like in the definitive edition they like tried to improve aiming, but like didn't.
Somehow it feels the same. It's like different, but it still feels the same.
Yeah, I definitely think that like aiming and how it functions in classic GTA could be improved.
Yes.
And so to like actually do that, I think would be neat. Yeah.
Something about it.
I don't like the vocal performances. I think are so fundamental to those games that you can't change. Like, don't re-record. Don't change. Yeah, I think you got to keep that in place.
Yeah, because like when things are flowing, when I get into a rhythm,
I'm
surprised by how similar it feels to the original.
Nice.
I'm shocked by how similar it is to play, even though there's so many problems.
Yeah,
time will tell.
I think just the bugginess and the sloppiness is like unbelievable for games that are so essential.
Mm-hmm.
And that's going to do it.
Holiday Rush. Sorry to cut you off.
Go for it.
It's a Holiday Rush we're talking about. You got to get your game out before Thanksgiving.
Pay up.
It's absurd.
Got to please those shareholders.
Yep.
That's going to do it for Frame Trap. Thank you so much to everybody who wrote in. If you would like to send an email to Frame Trap, the address is askeasyallies@gmail.com. One more time, that is askeasyallies@gmail.com. Thank you so much for a fun episode, Michael Huber and Bradley Ellis. Until next time.